Yeah.
Okay, so the bad news, Sock's not arriving until 22.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine then.
He said to me half past, so I told you quarter past because I suspected you'd be 15 minutes late, but I didn't factor in the fact that Sock would also be late. So that's on me at the end of the day.
No, that's very well played by you, to be fair, because it is 25 past for all of the watchers, for all of the creeps, all the viewers. I took about an extra 5 to 10 minutes because I couldn't get this button undone so I could get the time underneath it. So that took me a good amount of time.
I've redone this tie like four times. I'm wearing a different tie to last time to let the viewers know that I've got multiple ties in my collection.
Yeah,
But this one,
multifaceted individual.
it's just quite thin,
Mm.
so it's not my favorite tie in the world.
I feel like my suit isn't quite working with the camera, so I might take off the blazer.
Oh,
I'll bring it back on. I'll put it back on briefly for when our special guest arrives.
you do
But
suit the waistcoat. I won't lie, in
thank you
my
very
opinion.
much.
Also, this is a green tie. If you can't properly
Oh,
see,
is it? Okay, I thought it was black.
no, it's no, it's no one's died, Mike.
Okay, all right. Well, that's yeah, very good to hear. Do you know what? I think this works out well that Socks getting here later, Lenny, because I'm really coming in hot here,
Right,
and I am especially pissed off with Barnaby, aka Bill, who we were talking about in the previous podcast. All right,
right.
and I don't know if you're aware why, but I'm very keen to get into it, and I'm still very upset about it, and I'm very aggravated.
What's he
Um,
done?
okay, so essentially, Lenny, and for the benefit of all of our listeners, Sock in particular has he put out a press release recently about the Southampton Skunks alumni or grad game. It's also known
Yeah,
as the annual Will Jeffrey Invitational or the Orgy AWJI.
yeah,
Um, and this year, there's a big push from the current Skunks to encourage some of the recent graduates to turn up, bring a team, maybe multiple teams, to come along and play against the current Skunks. And a few of us saw about this. Sock actually posted a link at the time, which a lot of us, which led us to a WhatsApp group, which a few of us joined. I believe you yourself might be in that one, Lenny.
yeah, yeah. I'm in there.
And it began fairly harmoniously. A lot of skunks started to trickle in. It was nice. Maybe a couple of them I didn't actually have their numbers, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, it's so and so. Yeah, let me make sure I've got them in my contact list." Blah blah blah. And then we live peacefully. Every now and then, be interrupted by some random bot who'd come in and spam the WhatsApp group that Sock would then kick out. Sock then invoked admin rights over the chat, and then immediately let in another spam person who then just spammed and left again. So great work there, Sock. When you watch this back, but Lenny. At the weekend, I played a tournament, and while I
Yeah,
was at that tournament, a Facebook Messenger group was created. So obviously, this WhatsApp group, I would say, let's call it Lenny's generation. So pretty much everyone that was in Skunks from kind of 2019 and had graduated from 2019 onwards. That's pretty
yeah.
much everyone that was in this WhatsApp group. There are a couple of extra players that had been there a bit longer, but otherwise, that was a group. So like you would probably have known pretty much everyone in that group, Lenny.
I'd say so.
This messenger group was made by former skunk Katie,
Yeah,
former president as well. One of the skunks legends of days gone by. So like I'm sure Lenny, you would have heard of her, but you never would have interacted with her in skunks. So this is kind of like the 2015 to 2017-18 era of skunks. So this is like my first few years.
the chaff is, as some people like to call it.
And Katie had added an absolute ton of players all throughout those couple of years, maybe like the first 2 years that I was in Skunks, and I was also in this group, and I was just thinking this is great because now I can see if there's enough people that come from this group. And I can essentially now play both sides, so I can decide which team of alumni is looking better, and then I can kind of just not have to say anything, just goes both chats, and then I can decide which team is looking stronger, or maybe Lenny, which team requires numbers, and then I can then play for that team because my thinking is it's going to be great because like the more of like the old players that we can get back, that's more people that I haven't seen in even longer. So I
Yeah,
was thinking like if that chat takes off as well, that's great. Then even more people can come, and then I don't even have to think about which team I'm going to play for until later on. Okay, so that was all going very well. But then a couple of other people started adding their friends to the pre Lenny Messenger group, we'll call
right.
it. And one of those players, Barnaby Greenfield, was added at some point and was also apparently in the WhatsApp group. So Barnaby Greenfield, aka the whistleblower, then fed information to both groups of so now they're all aware of each other.
Is that a problem?
So
I
well
feel like that's
let
not
me
a
let me
problem.
tell you let me tell you what the problem is. Okay, first of all, now I'm thinking now the old alumni because they were kind of just about getting the ball rolling on like some people were saying yes, a lot of people were like no I'm busy, but like it was just starting to get off the ground. But now they know that there's actually going to be a team, so there's no like there's not loads of pressure on them to come down. They're all just going to be like, well, I won't bother coming then. So that's number one. Number two, in the old alumni chat, Liam Liu had just started to like plan what we were all going to do while we were down there, which means that I don't have to worry about any organisation. So that's now gonna get shot down. Thirdly, now I can't play both sides anymore because now everyone's going to end up in that WhatsApp group probably. And four, everyone in both chats now knows, like anyone that was in the alumni messenger group and joins the WhatsApp group is going to be like, Mike's been in here for a while. And then likewise, anyone from the WhatsApp group that goes backwards will be like, that's weird that Mike was in here from the start and never said anything, despite having seen all of the messages. So now I'm exposed for being an absolute
I
dickhead
do
for not
think
saying anything.
I think you're overthinking this. I don't think anyone really cares.
Oh, I'm really frustrated because Lenny, I feel like we could have had three alumni teams. Like we could have had an old gen from like 2015, like that would have been so great seeing some of those guys again. We could have had two from like the 2019 onwards because like that chat was so big. But now I'm worried that we'll like get maybe two at most, which will obviously still be great fun to see a lot of people. But I feel like Bill has killed any momentum on the old alumni group, and this like fuck
Well,
you,
as long
Bill.
as I'm on a team with Andy, I don't care. That's what I'll be requesting of Sock today. To keep the current skunks off my team, put Andy and Noel on my team. Happy days. I
So
feel
yeah.
like knowing more people's comings not off-putting. It's probably on-putting.
No, 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 no.
The more names,
You
the
don't
more.
understand how these people think, Lenny. All the old boys are just like, oh, like maybe I could play, but like I'd only want to go if so and so and so and so are going. And
Well,
then
that's
they're
fine
like
because if
two
they are
mates that are on the
going,
fence are just like, oh well, like all right, maybe I'll go if there's no one else because like they'll need us to be there to have a team. But now they've seen that there will be teams, they'll be like, ah, no, let me
oh, this
sneak
is
back,
why
let me hide under my rock again.
this is why Southampton was shit for years.
Well, hey, we didn't win anything. We still had like very similar caliber of players, but we were just did terribly at every tournament.
Well, then you didn't have a similar caliber of players, did you?
I think we had an equal number of like international players
you,
pretty
but
much throughout my whole run in Skunks.
you didn't qualify for any nationals. So I just feel like that can't be true.
No, genuinely, like we had like one year, my first year, we had Polish international player, we had Mexican international
But was
player.
that not the end of the good times? I feel like
No, we still didn't qualify that year.
I feel like your arrival sort of beckoned in a dark age for the club that took quite a few years for them to get out of. Maybe
No, my
60
arrival brought us out of the dark. That year we got like so many great freshers, but then like we were just still
that
were.
you managed to not qualify for any nationals for 6 years.
We get to the point every year where we'd have to chump both the final two games, and every year we'd manage it.
But we just wouldn't be anywhere near the game to go. I say we like I did anything. I just think the people we got in COVID, unbelievable. And maybe the other unis got worse.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, 100%. Like the other unis lost everyone. We kept me, Liam, and Ollie. You can argue how useful that was, but we were all very experienced and stayed. And then we picked up Andy. We picked up Leo. Who, yeah, I guess he would have played a few of them.
Yeah, Leo played Nats in my first year
Mm.
and regionals. Oh, how was club qualifiers? How
Uh,
fun?
it was so much fun. Actually, I didn't get injured, which was great.
Yeah, SC looked like they did all right when I checked.
Yeah, it was a
A
bit
few
unfortunate.
games.
Like it was one of those ridiculous situations where like we're in a pool, we had a load of close games, and then like we ended up sort of on like enough of a bad side of a tiebreaker that like the teams that we'd beaten qualified, so they got into like the top bracket, and we were then therefore in the bottom bracket, going into the bottom bracket with teams that had beaten us, which meant that because the bottom bracket was another pool, which meant
Oh, it was
that
like
we
one
were
big
already.
power pool, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, like yeah. So it was there were only 14 teams there, so the top four from each pool went into the top eight, and then everyone else was stuck in the bottom six round robin thing. But obviously we carried through one draw and one loss, which was extremely unfortunate given we'd won I think what two games and tied one on the first day.
Yeah, that's quite annoying.
But yeah, a bit frustrating. But yeah, like really good fun. Like had we gone through, we would have been absolutely battered in the top eight, which is exactly what happened to Sheffield, who we'd beaten the day before. They'd snuck through on a tiebreaker, and then they just proceeded to get ruined by every team on the Sunday. And yeah, we had quite good fun actually the whole way through. Yeah, for the benefit of all of the viewers, all of the watchers of Southampton season one, I was of course in action with Mark and Amy of Survivor Southampton season one fame, and Billy of season two. They were all on my team this weekend.
Do you know what? I can't wait for, what is it, the 7th of March or whenever it is, because I really just want to dick on the current skunks as well. I'm here to make sure that Sock does not mix the alumni with the current skunks.
Oh yeah, you know that'd be an awful idea.
I want to just absolutely ruin them. Oh,
Oh,
hello. Speaking of the man.
welcome to the recap of episode 20 of Survivor Southampton season 2. This is the If You Know You Know podcast, introducing the man who's only able to speak at a final tribal council if he hosts the season. It's Mike Price. Joining me this week, as ever, my stalwart companion, the biggest advocate you've ever heard of, big moves. It's Lenny Greenfield. Well, joining us, Lenny, and I really don't want to bury this lead. This is the king of Survivor Southampton season 2. I don't know who would have possibly predicted this, but joining us this week it is Sam O'Connell, aka Sock.
Come on! So that's why I stood up.
Is
Had to go.
that the Kieran Patel trophy?
Yeah, it is. I wasn't allowed to keep the Lenny Survivor Southampton Lenny trophy.
Well, I've got the World Cup right here.
Oh,
There
What
it
a
is.
trophy.
I mean, Sock, first of all, how do you feel?
elated. I've been on a high ever since in the last 1.5 years. Probably it's just been a blur. I'm walking down the street, people come up to me and they're like, are you the Sock? And I'm like, yeah. Flawless win.
I'm surprised people recognise you without that incredible hair.
Yeah, I know. Well, it did last about a year, so yeah, I think a lot of people recognise me then. Less so now, of course.
How you been, Sock?
Yeah, I've been well. How have you two been?
Not too bad. I saw you on a live stream this weekend,
Did you?
playing against Norwich.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realise they were streaming that game.
How did you guys do, Sock?
We finished fifth.
Really?
This is the history of Skunks. Yeah, bottled a quarter final, which we should have won.
Yeah.
We just played well until the quarter, and then we just played shit, and we just played well again. But yeah,
How many qualification spots were there?
2. No, 3.
Oh, okay.
3. So, yeah, a bit annoying, but to be honest, I couldn't go to nationals anyway, so I don't really care. Fuck the team.
I feel like at some point the mental strength of you, Isaac, Will, and Andy does need to be questioned.
Mate, I've
How
gone
does it keep happening?
right. Indoors, I've had 5 big quarterfinals, and I've lost every single one of them, without fail.
I've got a 50% record. Don't want to
Yeah.
brag. Sat on the bench for a great quarterfinal win back in the day.
Banging. We turned them twice on Universe, but couldn't score. Yeah.
Who was that against?
Oh, it's against some Solent people as well, so it was particularly.
Oh no!
It was against Jordan and Ross, if you know.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Jordan. He once stalled me out when only about 4 seconds had elapsed.
Oh, it's classic frisbee.
That's what it's all about. You've got to
You've got to use the rules to your advantage, Mike.
I'm still not over that. Let's really delve into it. So
Yeah.
I think, like, I've obviously we've got loads to say about the episode. We've got all the fun jury questions to go through, but at the start of Survivor Southampton, Sock, there was a lot of, and I feel like this we can really kind of see this as a tell-all. This is an expose. There was a lot of chatter about potential pre-gaming in this season, Sock, and your name was brought up a lot. And like, obviously, we know you came in as a huge target. Could you please share with everyone what you attempted to do before the game, because obviously this was one of the key rules. You're not allowed to do this.
So this has been built up so much. Pretty much all I did was no one was talking at a pub at the Isle of Wight, and I was like, well, this is shit. Everyone's tired. I want to talk, and I just said, who's doing Southampton Survivor then? And suddenly I was villainified, just trying to get the conversation moving. That's all I said. I didn't try to form any teams. I literally just asked, because I assumed at the table there would be quite a few, but no, villainified.
Okay, so you were just trying to get the ball rolling, and then
Yeah, it was it was like 6 p.m. You've already you started people had started at spoons at 8 a.m. You've been with each other for 10 hours. You're pretty sick of each other at that point. Like any conversation topics will win at that point. And, I was really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Sorry, were we at the same Isle of Wight? So I remember it being quite a good day.
Yeah, it was, but
you were struggling so much.
But, it is, but after at 6, you're tired. You're not drunk. You've been taking it slow, hopefully, but you're quite tired. And then after when it starts getting dark, you can start proper going again. But that 6 is the rest lull time.
So you're thinking, Sock, let me get this straight, is at the point at which people are most sick of each other, you then try and propose a delicate alliance for a future season.
Yeah. Well, I've worked well for me. I'm here.
A genius move.
Yeah.
The game started there. It was won in that moment.
Yeah, because I would say just for anyone watching that is unaware of the situation, coming into the game, Sock was one of the first targets that everyone was very keen to eliminate straight away, and the fact that he was then pre-gaming beforehand made that target even bigger. Everyone was just absolutely just drooling over the idea of taking you out straight away. With that in mind, Sock, do you think had you guys been to Tribal Council within the first couple of rounds, would you have just been knocked out straight away?
Yeah, I thought I was fucked, to be completely honest. I thought the second people were like, who do we vote? It just becomes the default Sock vote. And I'm saying goodbye before things even begun. And actually, that brings me on to a point I want to discuss. So the first Tribal Council I actually go into when I say I want to go for Straff and Noel and the big people. That's because I was so sure, especially Noel Clark, was just going to say, let's just get Sock out. Let's just do. So I was like, you know what? I need to get on this quick and get Holly and Ben on my side so I don't walk. But then I walked over to Noel and Straff and they were like, Zhao. And I was like, not me. Sounds good. I'll hop on. Why rock the boat? I'll just hop in.
I mean, to be fair to Nolan Strath, if they were voting for you, they probably wouldn't have told you then. They probably still would have told you Zhao.
Yeah, true. But I just believe them.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think it was because you had those players like Noel who were playing very defensively at the start of the game, because I think they just also assumed they were going to be targets. So I think it did work out nicely, especially for me, because then it meant all of the big targets remain in the game because then they all team up. So it'll be more fun later on. Yeah, so you did end up being surprisingly safe on the Merak tribe for the pre-merge. You obviously only had 3 rounds. Can you just talk to us a little bit about the round that Strath ends up going?
Oh yeah, so I just thought it'd be quite funny to vote Straff off. He was just in so much control, and I thought this would just be really funny if we just, no one would expect it. And I think it was Noel's idea, and I was just like, yeah, that sounds all right. And yeah, just had who was it? It was me and Oscar, and then I was like, you know what, I'm feeling quite tight with Noel and Oscar, and I know Noel's a big target, so I can always just hide behind him. So I was like, yeah, I'll just do what Noel says, and it's pretty funny. Of course, I didn't really think that, Straff's probably going to come back in the Redemption Challenge. But, that also turned out all right.
In your final pre-merge round, Sock, that is where we lose Max Berline, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And he was potentially an ally for most of the people that voted him off. Max didn't appear to be pushing against Ben that hard, and you all just kind of okay, let's let him go. Yeah,
pretty much. I forgot I said I wouldn't vote for Max, but I just completely forgot in the heat of the moment and just voted him out. But I think that Ben, Max just didn't put up any defence. He just kind of was like, yeah, vote me out. So it was just, it was quite easy. And also I think something you maybe don't get so much on the film because you can't really show it is that you feel quite, at least I at the start felt quite bad for voting people out. And then Max didn't really seem to care whilst Ben did. So I was like, you know what? he can go.
Max was an absolute disaster from start to finish.
Did you have any like kind of overarching strategies coming into the game? Was it just like, okay, well, I know I'll be a threat, so I'll just kind of play it down at the start just to reduce my threat level?
Yeah, I thought day one, my main goal to start with was just make it to day two, and my idea to do that was just like try and shut up a bit, because I often found when I open my mouth I get in trouble. So I just tried to play quite a quiet game. I wanted to just work out if like I was going to be a target, and if not, just stay quiet and just follow others. If I was a target, I was willing to do whatever in hell to not be a target. Like at the end of the day, alliances are alliances, but I was purely out for myself. Yeah, I was willing to hop sides, switch sides if it came up, but I actually felt pretty safe. I was just like, just shut up a bit and yeah, just get through.
One thing that we did note a lot of the time, you had a tendency to just kind of like chatter a lot, often contradicting yourself. I mean, I guess it would be difficult for any of this to be deliberate. If you want to claim it's deliberate now,
Yeah, purely deliberate.
Yeah.
It's all part of a master. I was playing the fool, all part of a master game. Nah, to be honest, I just changed my mind a lot. I'm just a very indecisive person. And I think I genuinely was just changing my mind a lot. Or I was just straight up lying, because I also do that occasionally.
Okay.
Or I just didn't realise I was contradicting myself.
So was there anyone on the Merak tribe that you were particularly drawn to in terms of people that you were hoping to try and work with throughout the game?
Yeah, I was particularly drawn to Noel. I think because one, Noel's always going to be a big target, so it's someone to hide behind, and also he's quite tactical. He knows how to play the game. He's done it before. We've seen it, so he's quite a good ally to have. But then the thing with Noel is he is a little rat, and he will betray you at some point. So you've always got to be quite careful. But I don't know. I felt at the start, at least, Noel didn't really feel too safe on Merak, so I felt he kind of needed like me and Oscar else to get him through. So I actually felt quite good about that. And then yeah, Oscar, he was just he's just a super loyal guy, and he's always safe. And yeah, I just kind of felt quite safe with him.
At the end of the tribe phase, there's 6 players remaining on Merak. It did seem that you had sort of Noel and Oscar that were together. Then it had Holly and Ben on the other side. And then it looks as if you and Billy were sort of in the middle there. Do you feel as though if you went to a few more tribal councils, then you and Billy would have sided with one of the pairs over the other?
Yeah, I think so. I think what would happen is I think Noel would have gone. I think but yeah, I think slowly the current, because Ben and Holly were adamant on getting Noel out, and then it was only I think Billy was also coming on board with that, and they've got 3, and then I'm just going to join the alliance which suits me best, which looks best for me. So I just hop on that and probably just get Noel out. So yeah, I think I would have ended up with Noel going out, then Oscar, and then we probably would have been at the second day anyway. But yeah, it's hard to know really.
Coming into the game, you and Lucy have this alliance-ish where like you're sort of planning on working together throughout the game, but also you're like vocally going at each other to try and say that you want to beat the other person. I think we definitely saw a lot more of it from her side, because we obviously saw her going to tribal council a lot more early on. Was this kind of a deliberate strategy, or if you had the opportunity to take out Lucy early, would you have done so?
I don't think I would have taken out Lucy early. What I really wanted to do was like drag Lucy far and then just like brutally double cross her. I wanted like to make it hurt. Like if you just double cross someone, like just vote someone out early, it's like yeah. But if you're with someone for a while and then you just turn around and just stab them in the back, oh, it's so sweet. And that's what I really wanted to do. Unfortunately, that didn't really end up working for me. But yeah, so I wanted to ally with Lucy and then like just brutally just turn on her.
That would have been fantastic to watch.
Well, I mean, Lenny, all of our scenarios, we have like in pretty much everyone other than this one, we have Lucy not getting blindsided at 7 and making it so far to the end. But maybe in that scenario, Sock somehow betrays her, and
it would have been so great, especially after she like gave me her idol to get me through. Just it was lining up to be so sweet, but unfortunately, Big Dog and Isaac got there first.
Wow, Lenny, we all thought that the end game was everyone queuing up to blindside Big Dog, but maybe actually everyone was just really looking forward to taking out Lucy at the perfect time.
I'm gutted. I feel like we've missed out on a beautiful moment.
It would have been. Oh, don't.
Oh, it's all right. It's a future season that could still happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're coming into the merge now. Obviously, Will's back, Lucy's back, as is Strath. So are you thinking it's not looking great for Merak, or are you thinking, well, the Blues have the majority, it's a 7v6, maybe we can just stay together and knock out some of the Reds?
No, I was thinking we're a bit fucked, aren't we? I did not like Strath coming back into the game. I think I made that very clear. Turns out Strath wasn't as big as a threat as I thought. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely, on the day and then watching it back, I think we can talk about it later, but I don't know what Strath was doing. I genuinely, how was that man an engineer? I just don't understand. So yeah, I was probably more worried about Strath than I should have been. And then, yeah, I kind of knew Merak was never going to be an alliance because there was definitely a rift, as in with Noel and Oscar, and then Holly, Ben, and Billy were definitely split, and I didn't really see any way of them coming together. I think, Noel Clarke's reputation, there was no way Holly, Ben, and Billy were willing to get into bed with him. So I don't think there was ever that possibility of that alliance forming. It just wasn't that same trust. And maybe because we hadn't had to stick together in votes. Like, if you'd watched our votes, we'd all been, especially the latter ones, we'd all been quite split. Like, voting for Strath, that could have been Noel, that could have been Ben. So yeah, we didn't have that same kind of alliance. And there was, definitely a rift where there wasn't in the Reds.
I mean, in the round where Noel goes, obviously Billy's already gone by then, but there's a potential for like a 6-6 maybe if you can get Strath on board. It did look as though maybe there was a chance of Noel bringing Will onto your side as well. Did you ever consider at any point, well, we've got Noel and Oscar on one side, I'm now sort of the one in the middle. Is there any way that I can kind of mediate these groups together to try and hold us together for like one or two more votes, just so we can have the majority and go at each other later? Or were you always like, no, there's just no way, like there's not enough time and it won't be possible anyway?
Yeah, just that wasn't right. I think like Holly had already properly switched sides. I think that swung it. And then my thinking was, why go down on a sinking ship? I'm just going to jump to the safety. And although, they're going to push me off the first chance I get, I'll probably last longer than on the Merak ship, which was already going down very quickly. I think the only way it could have changed is if Billy fucking stayed and not had to go. That could have altered things. Because, we would have lost Ben Roberts. But I think Ben Roberts was a controversial point in Merak. I think that maybe stopped the alliance happening. I think if Ben Roberts had gone on that first round and we still had Billy, I think maybe Noel and Oscar are a lot happier to team with Billy than Ben Roberts.
Yeah, maybe Billy can pull in Holly as well.
Yeah, and then maybe it's looking a little different. But no, Billy had to go sacrifice himself on the first challenge, and then there was no way Noel was teaming up with Ben Roberts.
Okay.
Where was Billy going, by the way?
I think he's been picked up by his parents.
Yeah, he's going home for the summer.
Yeah, personally,
that's a disgrace.
Personally, I've just told my parents to wait. I'm winning £100, Mum.
Some things are more important at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be much later on in the day. It was supposed to be like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So I was like to him, that'll be fine, because by that point it'll be like sort of final 5 or 4.
Yeah, don't worry, Billy. There's no way you're making it that far, man.
I was just like, just make sure you don't make it to like top 5.
Yeah.
But it was an unfortunate one, because I do think he played pretty well on the first day. So in the round where you end up actually voting for Noel, although it doesn't appear to benefit you because I think Will had voted for Strath. So I presume everyone just kind of didn't really think about it and were just like, well, Sock must have been that extra person.
Yeah.
It does appear that you were trying to build favour with, I believe, Lenny in particular in that round.
Yeah. Like I said, I was out for myself. I was trying to hop onto the winning side. And I thought, if I just be a yes man for a bit and, play the Oscar Josky Martin role, but, they won't see me as a threat and they'll focus on getting out the blue threats and then they'll eventually turn on each other and I can just, side off through the chaos untouched. So yes, that was like my game plan. I was like, well, I don't really have any influence at the moment. So I'm just going to try and go under the radar, because what's the point of trying to, hopping on a doomed alliance and just outing yourself as a target?
Who, in your opinion, at the time were the ones that were sort of having that core influence on the vote?
Oh, it was the Big Dog. It was the Big Dog group. It was Big Dog, Lenny. It was Big Dog and Lenny, really. Diver and Isaac just followed them. But yeah, the power was firmly within those two.
Okay. So was it those two that you were trying to build a rapport
Yeah,
with?
it was those two I was trying to get in with. And I was, and anyone in close to them, so like Diver and Isaac, you also wanted to get close to, because, they had some sway and influence maybe on Big Dog and Lenny. No, it was those 4 I wanted to get with. I just wanted to just distance myself from Noel Clarke at that point. It served his usefulness.
So we lose Noel that round. Then Ben Roberts goes in the next one. Oh, we can talk about that one a bit because so Lucy slips you a what is it? Safety without power advantage in that round, which you do end up playing. It's yourself, Ben, Big Dog, Will, and Holly at that tribal council. Now we've discussed this with all
Yeah,
those other
US
players.
was coming out.
It seems like madness that the three former Blues didn't get together and take out Big Dog, or even yourself, Ben, and Will, who it probably would have benefited to take out Big Dog. Can you kind of talk us through like the sort of atmosphere at the time? Because it seems from what the others have said as though everyone was just kind of too scared to speak up in case they were the target.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfectly it. I think, well, both from me and Ben's perspective, I thought I had Big Dog on my side, and I knew Holly was. So I thought I had Big Dog. I knew Holly was with Ben, and then I kind of felt like that Will would vote with me as well. So I kind of felt like I'd be all right. But then shouting out Big Dog's name and being like, go for Big Dog in my position would just be madness because at that point, I felt like he was my biggest supporter. So it would just, turn my support against me. But then I don't know, I think I must have forgotten I had the safety without power advantage. Because remember, the second you called that vote, the split thing, I knew I was going to play it. So I think I should have maybe gone for Big Dog. But then, I don't know, maybe I felt that I still wanted to, I wasn't sure people would go for Big Dog, and the second I do that and people don't vote Big Dog out, I'm gone in the next round.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you thought that Holly was on Ben's side, and you thought that Big Dog was on your side, but you thought that Will was the one making the decision. So when you proposed, why don't we all switch and vote for Will?
Oh, that was just me. I just going. I think because I felt like Big Dog was still a big player. So I think if you make a play on Big Dog and you don't get away with it, you've doomed yourself. You make a play on Will, yeah. What influence has Will got? I'm not scared of Jeffrey. I'm scared of Big Dog.
That's a good point because I mean Will had obviously already been voted off. So
yeah. Who's going to listen to Will? Like he doesn't have Divya, Isaac, and Lenny willing to follow his every move.
we lose Ben Roberts, and then the next round is very much either yourself, Oscar, or Strath up for grabs. And Big Dog gave us some interesting insight into why he was trying to protect you in that round because when he was on the podcast last week, he was saying that he felt as though Strath and Oscar might both be future numbers for Lenny. He was expecting Lenny to betray him at some point, but he felt as though you weren't so much in Lenny's camp. Was there any conversations you'd had with Big Dog that made him feel this way?
Yeah, I do remember vaguely talking to Big Dog and being like, Big Dog, please, 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 can I be in your alliance? I do remember, slightly begging to Big Dog. So I think, like I said, I wanted to be a bit of a yes man and just stay under the radar for a bit. So and I just wanted to work for whoever had the most power. And from the second day, it was between Lenny and Big Dog, and then it quite clearly became Big Dog. And then I think that worked, and I think that's why Big Dog wanted to keep me around a bit. And he also, knew that I wasn't going to work for Lenny, but I wanted, I was in his camp quite firmly.
Okay. Were there any conversations sort of that went along the lines of like, I'm with you, and if stuff goes down, then I'm sticking with you specifically? Is there any of that going on?
I remember I told Big Dog, there's no man other than myself who I want to win the game more than you.
At Final 9, we do start to see you in more of a power position. So this is when Lenny gets together with Will and... Can
I just thank Lenny a second? I think I was definitely gone that round. So I think Lenny really clutched up and saved me.
I'll claim an assist on the win.
Yeah. I watched that back and I was like, fuck it, now I'm a lucky man. The writing was on the wall for me there. And then Lenny came in 90 plus 8. Yeah, fucking diabolical group.
Then he just crossing out Sock's name and writing Will Jeffrey in there instead, essentially. So essentially just the viewer, just to reset it. So we see essentially like the Ruber 3 get together, Isaac, Divya and Big Dog, and they're just like, okay, so Sock's the last one on Strath's list. So Strath and Lenny are both immune. They're just like, let's take out Sock.
Ruber 4, by the way, at that point, still.
Well, yeah, but you weren't stood with them at the time. So yeah, that Ruber 3 are just like, we're going to vote for Sock, just finish the alliance. At which point we then go over to Lenny. He's having a chat with Will and with Holly, and he's just like, now's the time. Like, us three plus Strath plus Lucy, we get together and we take a shot at the Ruber 3. So that's how it gets set up. Then Holly obviously passes it back, and then they're all trying to decide who to take out between Will, Lenny and Strath. Lenny and Strath are immune, so it goes for Will. Sock obviously you were the name that was initially brought up by the Isaac Big Dog Divya group.
Yeah.
What was this round like from your perspective? Did this just never get back to you? Because surely if you knew that you were their target, you probably would have sided with Lenny, right?
No, I think I did know because Lucy told me, but
Okay.
then I just didn't want to side with Lenny because Strath. Strath would be. I Like I said, Strath's whole game. I don't understand. He voted for me when I was immune. He kept telling me he was going to vote for me. He was going to get me out. I was terrified of that man. And then was I in the circle? I don't know if this was me getting confused by watching it back or not, but I'm pretty sure I'm in the circle when he has a chat with Lenny, and when he comes to a circle and says, "Let's vote Lenny out," and I hear that, and I'm like, "No fucking way am I joining this alliance." They're already turning on each other.
You know, if I have one regret, it's teaming with Strath.
And I think you might have been immune that round. I mean, doesn't someone point out you're immune that round anyway? It's just why? Again, it's my point about why jump on a sinking ship. You might as well take your chances on the secure ship. So, yeah. So
I jumped off a very secure ship onto one that immediately started sinking.
Immediately starts betraying each other. So yeah, it just seemed like madness. And yeah, I know Big Dog and Divya and Isaac would vote for me at some point, but at least I know I've got a few rounds to work something out whilst they're distracted with getting rid of Lenny and his alliance. I mean, at least I hope they've forgotten about me for that.
Yeah, so for the next couple of rounds, you enjoy having this buffer of there's at least Strath and Lenny who will go before you, but they're constantly pitching to try and get you in as well because you were the one that appeared to be on the bottom of five that are remaining. So did you ever feel as though it was in your best interest to actually flip and join them to take out Isaac? Or by this point, Lucy's picked up her idol, so was that the plan that just developed from there?
Yeah, Lucy picked up her idol, and also I think if I had flipped, it still wouldn't have been enough. And I knew Lucy. I talked a bit with Lucy and Holly, and they were firmly convinced of staying with Big Dog. So it's just again, why just make myself a target? I can just hide in the bottom and the dregs of Big Dog's alliance.
Talk us through the final 7 vote then. So this is where Lucy ends up leaving.
Oh, fuck. I spent so long talking to Holly and Lucy, and I just told Holly, trust me, you don't want to save Lenny. We're going to be fine. Don't worry at all. I understand that sounds pretty dodgy, but and Holly had given me her word that she was not going to do it. So I was fuming. I'm really glad this isn't caught on camera, but I remember just before we go in for tribal, Lucy comes up to me and says, "I'm really not sure. I think Holly might do it. I might play my idol on myself just to be safe." And I remember I turned around to her and said, "Don't you dare! No, this is our only chance of winning the game. You do not need to play this idol. Holly is completely on side. Don't worry at all." I literally just convinced her not to play the idol.
Is there a reason Lucy didn't play it when she sees Holly get up and play it?
I don't think she realised she could.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she definitely came to me before tribal and was like, "I'm not sure about this vote." And I told her, "Nah, it's fine. We've got Holly in the bag," pretty much. And then Holly got up and did that, and I thought, you know what? You never know. Big Dog might go, but then I saw Big Dog smirk. I knew we were fucked.
Yes, I mean, surely at that point you've assumed that if Holly's played her idol for Lenny, then the two of them are clearly voting together for either Big Dog or Isaac.
Yeah.
It just so happened that they'd split their votes, assuming that Divya had an idol and would play it for one of them, therefore guaranteeing one of them go. However, on a complete whim, Big Dog and Isaac happened to put 2 votes on Lucy, which was enough on that particular situation to take her out.
Yeah.
I will say, Sock, if you didn't tell me that Divya had an idol, then
oh shit,
I would have just voted for the same as Holly.
Fuck. So I really did lead to Lucy's downfall in many ways.
There you go. You got what you wanted, really.
Yeah, in a way. But at that time, I kind of needed Lucy in the game. That was her idol was my ticket to the top 4.
Did it not occur to you guys though? Because obviously you were immune that round. You had immunity. You were guaranteed to get through to the next round. Did it never occur to you to be like, Lucy, why don't I just hold on to the idol for this round, just in case anything weird happens? I'll definitely be in the next round anyway.
I was just so confident that Holly was on our side, to be honest. Just really backed. But Holly was with us. And also, there's no way Lucy would have given me her idol. She wouldn't, because I probably wouldn't have given it back, to be honest. And
also, to be fair, I feel like thinking Holly was going to be on side is pretty reasonable.
I just thought it was a
That's
crazy
hard
move. I just
because
thought it was so stupid.
I feel like everyone was pretty much in agreement that I was gone. I'd
Yeah,
shaken everyone's hands. I was ready to go.
and
I
then
didn't
like
believe that Holly would join me.
Clearly, Divya didn't convince her enough that she was going to flip in the future. So
yeah, I kind of get it from Holly's perspective, and yeah, I think Holly, yeah, from Holly's perspective, probably is right because like me and Lucy turned up to it being like, "Trust me, there's a plan," and we probably aren't, two of the most trustworthy people, and we haven't really come up with any incredible plans before. So I think I get that aspect. But yeah, completely. Like I think you see on the clip, like my face, like. I start counting my days. Like I'm fucked. I thought I was fucked then. Like, I thought I was getting ready. I was preparing my goodbye speech.
yeah, so throughout the merge stock, had it felt like she was more and more of like your solid number one ally throughout the
Yeah,
whole thing, or were you still thinking even more? But it's going to be even sweeter now when I turn on her.
yeah. So I was like, I need to keep Lucy in for as long as I need her, and then I can get rid of her. Unfortunately, I needed her the whole time just to stay alive. And she was one who like reported information back to me about what was happening in big dog camp and stuff. So I think that's how I knew that I was being targeted. Because I remember Lucy came over to me and told me that they were going for me. But yes, I just needed a then she planned the idol, so I needed that idol. So I was really just waiting, and I hadn't really planned about how I was going to get rid of her. I was just going to wait until the right opportunity arose. But yeah, I felt very without Lucy, I wouldn't have got as far as I did.
Mm.
I don't think.
Lenny, weigh in on this then. So we were talking in our podcast with, I don't know, probably around sort of like Oscar time about the benefits of having allies and stuff. And we were talking about how it's great to have two allies in different conversations with Oscar and Noel. Then you're kind of covering maybe two-thirds or half of everything that's being said and you can report information back to each other. But that was a case where Oscar and Noel were a known tight duo. You've got Sock
Yeah.
and Lucy here who are a tight duo that no one knows about. So like people are happy to feed them information about each other as well. So like is that arguably the best alliance in the game?
Yeah, that was pretty incredible, isn't it? I wish I had one of those.
I mean you tried to do it with Divya, really.
Yeah, but you know, unfortunate that obviously her and Chris were also on the tribe. So I feel like maybe it would have worked if they weren't, in cahoots.
If
So
Big
it's
Dog wasn't so damn charming.
exactly if he
Lenny,
wasn't working his magic.
Lenny, mate, my advice is date someone who goes on the show before the show starts. Works flawlessly for me.
Unfortunately, they were on the cruise, Sock, and they weren't giving me any info at the time. So um, they didn't break the integrity of the sport, which a damn shame.
None of us were willing to do that.
That
Yeah.
would have been heavily frowned upon if Lenny suddenly just like, oh no, if you're like Divvy's got an idol and Lenny's just like, no, she doesn't. I've got on great authority who has idols. I know that Lucy has one. I know that Big Dog had one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, did Divya have an idol in the end? Some, but I got fucking played there. I was going around telling everyone Divya's got an idol.
Yeah,
I know.
I just completely believed you. I was just like, there's no way Sock would lie about this.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that from then. Oh,
I think it stemmed from that tribal council where Will Jeffrey had been like, I saw someone find it, and it was the idol that Holly had found. So then at that tribal council, then I think Divvy had turned to like look at someone, and it looked as though she was chatting. And I was just like, Divvy, you got something to say about this?
oh,
I think
fair.
that was where it started.
Oh,
So then
damn.
it kind of spread from there. And then obviously Divya was kind of, it
Yeah.
benefited her for everyone to think she had an idol.
Yeah.
It definitely worked. Something that, yeah, we'll come to it in a bit, but actually, no, I'll definitely forget about it. But she definitely should have discussed it at Final Tribal Council because it was a huge part of the
Yeah.
game, and it was
Big
just a
great.
complete lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you lose your biggest ally, Sock, but you immediately find another one at Final Six, and you run straight to Divya.
Yeah. That was again Lucy being pretty invaluable to me. I think Lucy done all the hard work, getting Divya on side, and I just picked up like the final piece of the puzzle, and then I literally didn't have to do much. Divya, I think yeah, partly she was quite annoyed, but Big Dog and Isaac had blindsided her, especially as it was Lucy who'd gone because she was planning on being an ally with Lucy. And I think, I was the next best thing. So it just worked really well for me. I'd love to say it was all my own skill and all my own manipulation for the Divya, but no, I was just like, oh, yeah, Divya, you're listening to me now? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you pick up Divya at final six, you take the shot, Isaac, he's now out of the game. Final five, you're still desperate to take out Big Dog. Is that where you would have gone if he was available, even if Lenny was not in
Yeah,
the side?
yeah. I was, yeah. Big, Big Dog had such big input and such big sway on the game. But I think if I get rid of Big Dog, that probably shores up my alliance with Divya a bit more. Divya never really trusted Isaac too much, but she definitely wanted to stay with Big Dog. So I think getting him, suddenly I'm in a much better position with Divya. And also, um, Big Dog had been quite smug to me about getting Lucy out. So, I wanted to get a bit of revenge.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about your alliance with Isaac, actually, Sok, because it gets brought up a couple of times throughout the sort of early post-merge rounds. Is this something that you'd sort of had like an unspoken thing before the game that was kind of coming into it?
No, I think we were partnered up in the first. Was it the first? On one of the I remember
Yeah, the reward challenge, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I remember it being like, at that point, I was just desperate for anyone. And I remember I'd been like to Isaac, can we just team up? And, we'd like we know each other quite well. We've both been like the freshers who joined that year, who'd been on the first team. So we just knew each other. We'd had that shared experience. So I thought, and I knew he was smart and good at, and he was smart and also very athletic. So I was like, this is a great ally to have. And then like, I seem to care about the alliance. Isaac just seemed to, like, whenever I brought it up, just seemed to like nod and just be like, yeah, and just say whatever he needed to say. And I quite quickly got the impression that he really didn't care about me when I really cared about the alliance. So then that kind of drifted, and I really tried to kept pulling at it to see if Isaac would come back. But no, he seemed pretty sold. He'd been sold by Big Dog's charm.
Another one, yeah.
Yeah, it hurt a bit. Isaac was quite obvious. He just didn't really care about the alliance.
Okay, so at the final five, you're forced to choose between Lenny and Divya, and we see a conversation. I'd be interested in discussing this. So there's a conversation between you must have been speaking to Big Dog at the time. So you've got Lenny, Holly, and Divya, the other three non-immune players, all talking, and then no one's. They're all just kind of saying, "Well, I mean, the only person that has a three we can say is Sock because the rest of us are here." And
Yeah,
then Divvy goes back to you, and it seemed like maybe you're on the fence. Obviously, like you've got a close alliance with Divvy, but you have been working with Lenny. But then Divvy is like to you, Lenny's been saying your name, and you're like, what a scrawny bastard.
yeah.
When I mean, to be fair, there was three of them speaking, and the only person they could say was you. Did this put you more in any kind of headspace of taking out Lenny, or was he always just done in that one?
Then I think I was always pretty sold with Lenny. I think a lot of us had got quite sick of Lenny in the game. I thought he should have gone a few rounds ago, say with Isaac. Although you didn't, well, yeah, I blamed you for fucking up my plan partly. And so, yeah, I was very happy to see the back of you. And also, like, you've got influence, you've got power. I wanted to kick you when you were down, pretty much. And I didn't want you to give you the chance to crawl back up.
I feel like I was at a high point at that point in the game. I was just so happy to still be there that honestly going out was like it wasn't that bad.
There. But I just wanted to just, get you out. Because I knew if you were given the chance to crawl back up, you would.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, yeah.
What it's like with like a termite infestation, you got to get it quick before it spreads.
I was just happy to ruin plenty of games before I went.
Yeah. No, I think, and then, yeah, I just wanted you gone. And Divvy, was working out as a good ally for me, so it'd been crazy for me to vote her off.
Yeah, I do think it was definitely the right call.
I would say it was your time, but your time was like 3 rounds before Lenny. So, yeah.
Yeah, so talk to me about your kind of perceptions and relationship specifically with Lenny over the course of the post-merge onwards.
He was one of the leaders of the game. It was him and Big Dog who were one of the leaders. So I was just trying to sidle up to him. Lenny didn't really give me much. I kind of felt, but they had their alliance and they were quite happy with himself, and they weren't really taking applications, so that was quite annoying. And then I felt a lot of relief towards Lenny because then he made his play and pretty much saved my life. But when I said I felt relief, I didn't really feel I owed anything to him because I then voted against him, and then he was just dead meat effectively, and we were well. That's what, and then he was the dead meat who ruined my plans, and then he was gone.
Back from the dead.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we get to final four, Sock, and Big Dog's suddenly vulnerable again because you win immunity. Do you want to talk about the challenge at all?
Oh,
Final four challenge.
masterful performance by me. I've done it. I got to the final four, and I think it suddenly clicked. I can fucking win this shit, and I was just like, yeah, like, here we go. And yeah, mate, I bruised my hands climbing up that tree so much. And then looking back at the puzzle pieces, I think I was just like so panicked that I just wasn't thinking straight, and I just couldn't. Like when I was going to look outside, outside in the front garden, I remember just like looking everywhere and just be like, where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it? I couldn't find it, but then luckily Holly, pretty much one of my finer players, I think, following Holly out and then I don't know how I did it, just looking over Holly's shoulder and getting the 4 like that before she can get it. I was very, very impressed with myself watching that back. Really, really some brilliant gameplay for myself there. And then Big Dog and Divya I don't know what they were thinking. Quite clearly it wasn't going to be easy. Like I do philosophy, and I could do a basic maths and work out I'm probably not going to get this by doing all 4. And then I just left myself in the best position to get it, and I did it. And also, Lenny, it was last week you were chatting some shit about once you got 2 it's easy. No, do it. It's not. It's not.
Honestly, Mike, if you could give me the cubes and give me 2 of them set up, if you bring them to, I don't know, whenever you next see me, Norwich, I'll do it. I'll do it in 2 minutes.
But also, you got to think a high pressure scenario of Mike making like snide comments about what other people are doing.
This man thrives under pressure.
Oh, don't worry, Socks. Lenny's also been making a lot of claims about the final 3 challenge, which we can get into shortly.
The final 3 challenge, I'm happy to dispel and say I probably wouldn't have won that one after actually trying it.
Well, to be honest, I could have gone all day. I was fine.
It really hurt. Like this part, I just couldn't get the technique on the wrist right.
Especially the fucking massive one. Like I couldn't hold it up straight. Like you saw it. I just couldn't. Like there was no way I could hold it up straight.
I feel like if I had the Holly saucepan, I would have had a chance. But I use my big saucepan.
Yeah, it's tough.
So hard. It is really hard.
Oh shit! Talking about saucepans, give me 2 minutes. I got bolognese going. I'll just check on it quick. Just with the house burns down. Also, before we continue, I just want to make a note. I have opened a beer. I'm not an alcoholic. I know it's a Monday evening. I just finished my exams today, and I felt one was due.
Congratulations!
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I was very concerned about doing a podcast this week. I was worried you'd still have stuff on.
Nah, I do a fake degree, Mike, so it's all fine.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, glad to hear that you're done then.
Yeah. Also, so that's another point. I don't know if this has been noticed before, but I really enjoyed on the dice puzzle thing how you put our degree titles under our names as you went through, as you had Divya and Big Dog as engineers, and just put me philosophy student. And I did. I just found it quite. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but I just found it quite funny.
Oh, I probably just because I do it all the time anyway. There was a fan out there from Fan Corner who was chatting shit about the immunity challenge, which I didn't really appreciate. They were saying why did you not put a timer up on screen? And for that fan, first of all, fuck you. That's way too much effort. That is like extremely difficult. Based off the software that I'm using to edit. First of all, and secondly, like. This is shown live, okay? This is shown as it happened. There was no editing trickery. Like, just watch from the time that I say 3, 2, 1 and we're on to the time that Holly and Divya dropped out. That was how long the challenge lasted, all right? So get fucked.
Yeah. How long was it?
I've got that data here, Lenny, because earlier Lenny messaged me and claimed that he could do, what was it, 2 minutes, 55 seconds?
Not claimed I could. That's what I did.
2 minutes, 55 seconds is a very long time.
Yeah, that's a decent effort.
You can do a lot in 2 minutes, 55 seconds.
Then,
mate, I'm impressed.
I want to put this challenge out. There to everyone. So what you have to do, you find a saucepan in your house. Okay?
A big one, not one of the.
Yeah, I picked the biggest saucepan out of my 3.
I mean, yeah, don't choose a tiny one, but it has to be filled with, I believe it's exactly a litre of water. So obviously if you choose a tiny one, then it will spill over, okay? Hold it above your head, stand on one leg. If any tips out, you lose. If you lose balance, then you lose. And if the pan goes below the top of your head, then you lose, okay? So see how long you can last. Lenny thinks he can do 2 minutes 55.
I don't think I did it.
Lenny claims, rather, he did 2 minutes 55.
Yeah, was it?
Obviously, I haven't seen the video evidence
I'll
yet.
film it. I'll do it again. I'll film it.
Lenny, you know we don't do fucking self-ref sports here. We need
I'll send in some video evidence to you, Mike. I'll read
Okay.
it. I probably got more than a litre of water. I was probably doing a hard load, to be honest.
All right, then we'll see. So I compared the season two versus season one results. Obviously, season one, it was so long ago, I can't remember how I edited it, so I might have like cut out bits. So Carolina made it 28 seconds. Beth made it just over a minute, 1 minute and 4 seconds. So these are the kind of
Yeah.
this is the ranking so far. All right, Holly went out after 2 minutes and 6 seconds, and Divya lasted 2 minutes 21 seconds, and obviously Sock and Noel
I
went
could have gone on for about another 10 minutes. So,
arguably forever.
yeah. We'll just put an infinity next to
So,
it.
so what I'm hearing is I'm the best of the rest.
Then he's put himself at Lenny thinks he can do 2 minutes
Rennie, mate, you would have
55.
come firmly second.
If I send you a 3 minute video of me doing it, will you just splice it into this part of the podcast?
Yeah, right. If I'm able to, I'll put it in the bottom right. All right, but you have to do it for me within the next day or two. And
I'll do it straight after we finish.
while we're talking for the next like 3 or so minutes, it will just be playing just down there alongside it.
Can you put a timer in?
No, no, I can't. But whoever's watching will be able to just like move their mouse, see what times the video's at, and then like at the end maybe I'll put over the top the exact time you did. But you've claimed 2 minutes 55, so I want to see at least that now.
All right, easy.
But yeah, obviously in season one, Beth and Carolina like they had water spill out, so
Embarrassing.
Rookies.
yeah, clearly everyone else had watched them. Okay, so they'd already seen what not to do. But apparently, what not to do is to look up. Lenny, what
Nah,
do you think
I
about
do it all day. That's cap. That's just a pure excuse from Divya.
She said
I had
you were
shocked when I
going.
looked up. Nah, mate, I was flying pretty. I may have looked like I was struggling, but trust me, mentally, I was fine. It was all an act. Make Divya overconfident so she starts looking up and stuff.
I actually saw in anticipation for this podcast. I rewatched the episode today, and Mrs. Price came in. My mum, that is, not my wife. My mum was in there as well, and she was watching. And throughout the whole thing, she was just like, "Oh, Sock's about to go. Sock's about to go." She thought you were on the ropes there.
No, I think it was just genuinely so heavy I couldn't hold it straight. That's why it would look like I was struck. I genuinely couldn't hold it straight.
Oh, are there any rules for like how like orientation of holding it, like with your wrist and your arm? Does it just have to be above your head in some capacity?
Yeah, but I mean the issue with that is that I think I think this challenge can probably be retired now, which is why I'm happy to pose it as a challenge to all of the viewers. I don't think this is one that will ever return because I think it's if there's ever a contentious issue with whether it's gone below the head, I think that's where it'll start to get dicey because obviously I'm going to be shorter than most of the people competing anyway, so it's going to be a hard advantage point for me to tell if it's gone below the head. But obviously, if you're twisting your wrist and it goes lower, and if you're twisting your wrist and then he drips out, then that's the kind of risk there.
Yeah.
So Lenny, if you're doing any really like weird technique when you're holding it for however long you're claiming you can hold it for.
255. Well, I was holding it like kind of in front, but above my head.
Oh, what you were sort of doing that?
Yeah, for a little bit. So I was just trying to like alleviate my like. Cause I was just getting a lot of wrist pain from it.
Maybe in that case, we're going to need a couple of different camera angles, Lenny.
I don't have the facilities to set up multi-cam, I'm afraid.
Or just make a friend and have them film it.
No, well that's obviously not going to happen.
That's impossible, Mike.
Yeah, okay.
Let's not be crazy. I can't believe you just don't believe me.
I
2
mean,
minutes and 55 seconds is a long time.
it's a long
That's
time. It's a
very
long time. You know, like you, I'm sure you're very strong. Okay.
Anyone would be proud to last that long.
More
You know,
than
I might
proud.
also give it a go. I'm tempted to also give it a go, and maybe I'll splice that in at the bottom left. We'll see how that goes. All right, we'll see if either of us can
What a
beat.
thrilling segment.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll see if either of us can beat Divya. Yeah. So, all right. Well, do you have any tips for any budding viewers that are trying to compete in this, trying to get involved?
yeah, don't be nice and let Divya choose second. Just tell her to fuck off and choose the smaller one. But, worked out for me in the end. I would say, yeah, just a game of mental game. I don't know, I just told myself there's no way you get picked by either Divu and Holly if you lose this. So your only chance of making it to the final is by winning this challenge. And I think, it gives you a bit of mental resistance and you can just withstand the pain. Also, don't look up, apparently. At least that's what Divya says.
So I think I tied with Divya. We'll run the tapes back. I'm hoping that I did beat her, but that pan was so heavy, my hand was freezing cold, and that challenge is a lot harder than I thought it was. So guys, Mike here. So of course we're extremely thorough at Team Kayhem, and upon a review of the footage of mine and Lenny's saucepan challenge, I did query how heavy Lenny's pan was, because obviously he's a very large man and the pan looks very small by comparison. Looked slightly different make to mine. I was concerned that maybe mine was a bit too heavy, and Lenny lasted way longer than me, and obviously I was very bitter and was hoping for a reason as to why that could be, as opposed to Lenny simply being stronger and better able to withstand pain than myself, which was a strong likely contender to be the conclusion. However, Lenny came back here and he said his was 426 grams. I then weighed my saucepan. Turns out it was 880 grams, which is obviously substantially heavier. So we then had to roll back the footage and try and figure out whose saucepan was closer in weight to the people who would have been playing. We decided that Holly's, Carolina's and Lenny's probably would have been essentially the same saucepan, with Divya's and Beth's maybe being slightly heavier, and Socks and Noel's probably being about like roughly 650 based on that. And then just because my parents clearly bought their saucepans like 50 years ago when they just made metals very densely, that's why that one's a lot heavier. So I think as Lenny and I discussed, the only true conclusion we can actually draw from this is that if Lenny was in a final three with Holly and Carolina, he would have destroyed them both with equal machinery. And obviously, I'm an absolute king for holding my significantly heavier saucepan for longer than the four girls that were eliminated. Lenny, is it the best idea to win this challenge? Because in Survivor Season 1, the American show, one of the players actually voluntarily took themselves out of the final immunity challenge, knowing that it would force the winner to vote off the other person, and therefore the other person would give them their jury vote.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the end, Holly ended up voting against you.
Yeah,
and she did cite that as a reason.
Yeah,
but if you left it to chance and then Holly had won, then
then you just look like a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, and like
but by that point, you're not leaving it to chance because Holly's eliminated by then.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
but also he does look like an absolute twat if Divya takes Holly to the end.
Yeah, and also I don't want to lose. I think you understand how competitive I am. But I don't care if it's going to harm me. I just didn't want to lose.
I guess it's weighing up because, like, if you win, obviously you've got another challenge win on your record. You can explain to the jury that it's a move by taking out Holly. If you can kind of be eloquent enough with it. I mean, as you kind of did in part of your answer to Ben, you explained fairly nicely as to why you chose to eliminate Holly. But I think if you'd have pushed that even harder at Tribal Council, you just like, Holly's such a good player, she did all these things, then maybe you can get to the point where Holly's just like, do you know what? Sock recognised what a huge threat I was, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
awarding the win.
Yeah. And also, I knew Divya wasn't popular with her jury after whatever the fuck she tried to put in the penultimate round with Big Dog.
Yeah,
which I still don't understand what the game plan was there.
Oh well, I mean, we did discuss this in the last episode. So I think what she was trying to weigh up, from how I understood it from her confessionals, was that it wasn't so much that she was worried about betraying her alliance with Big Dog, and that I think partly she felt a bit bad because they were close. But I think also she was just concerned that if she voted him off, then she wouldn't get taken to the end by either you or Holly.
Yeah.
Because I think in her mind she was just like, these two have now probably got a final two alliance together. So she was worried that she wouldn't make it to the end. However, if she kept Big Dog for one more round, he would definitely be voted out of final three unless he won final immunity.
Yeah. And then he takes her through, but then of course he wins every time.
Yeah, but she was hoping that he would then lose the final immunity.
Fair.
But I just didn't get across to the jury.
No,
so it
didn't get across to me either. She just kept saying, I just can't write his name down. I just can't write it.
That's all we were hearing. We're like,
write his fucking name down.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
think it definitely benefited you that you didn't like understand that, because you could then like make out to the jury like, what an idiot! Like, how did she not
This,
realize Big Dog's
what is
gonna
this
be there?
woman doing?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, from that perspective, David actually made complete sense. If she's just told me that, I would still be like, vote Big Dog out. Because
well, yeah, because especially in that case, you can be like, oh no, no, me and you to the end, me and you.
yeah, I'd been in the lunch with Divya since like round 6. Anyway, Holly was going every time at that immunity trial. Like, we all knew what she did with Lenny. There was no chance I was letting Holly come to the end with me.
Yeah, so one of the kind of underappreciated alliances throughout this game has been you and Divya. Can you talk about your relationship with her kind of throughout the merge onwards? Because we obviously see you come together at like final
Yeah.
6, but had you had anything else before that?
No, like I said, I think, yeah, I guess a bit, but it was more just through Lucy because Divya was kind of aligned with Lucy the whole way, and I was kind of aligned with Lucy. So quite often we'd just meet in a free, and I think it was a bit like, in many ways, it was a bit like with Big Dog, Isaac, and Divya alliance, as in Big Dog was allied with both Isaac and Divya, but as we later saw, it wasn't really too clear that Divya and Isaac really were allied with each other. I think me and Divya were like that. So we were both allied with Lucy, and we just kind of came together for a situation. But then when Lucy went, we kind of looked at each other, and we didn't really have anyone else left. So we did kind of end up forming an alliance after that. So yeah, I think it was kind of like that.
Okay.
And then yeah, she was great to have along in the last few rounds. Like, she was really keen to vote out Isaac. And then yeah, we finally got her to vote out Big Dog.
Lenny, I've got a double one for you now. Okay, so I
Okay.
want you to imagine two different scenarios. Okay, so in the first scenario, you are Divya, and you're trying to convince Sock to take out Holly. What do you say if you're Divya?
I I'd probably do what Divya did, to be fair, and just be like, Holly's much more popular with the jury, because I think that's probably true. Um, I mean, even if it's not true, but I feel like Divya basically did the right thing there.
In that case, then you're now Holly, and you're trying to pitch to Sock to eliminate Divya.
Yeah, I'd definitely be downplaying if I have any jury favour. I'd be picking out lots of people, which Holly did try to do with Ben, and then Sock was like, "Well, Ben would still vote you over me." So I guess that one case not great. But then I'd be like, I guess I'd be talking about like Isaac and Chris are definitely going to vote Divya. There's um, more Ruba. Was there more Ruba on the final council?
So you had Noel, Ben, Oscar. Then it was Will, Lucy. It depends on what you count Strath as. So Strath would have been former Merak, and then you've got Isaac, Lenny, Big Dog, and then if Holly goes, then it would be 5 and 5.
Yeah, maybe I'd just try and list out like 6 people that would definitely vote for Divya or something like that. And make it sound so certain. Try and get in the head. Watching it back, I feel like Sock's mind was basically already made up.
Yeah, I was going to say that there was no way I was taking. Holly could have said anything to me, but there was no way I was taking Holly through.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean that with the greatest of compliments to Holly's game.
I was actually shocked. I thought you were going to take Holly from
No, that'd be
the
fucking.
outside. I was gutted.
Lenny, that'd be fucking stupid, mate.
I was so sad. I was so excited to wage a massive campaign against you in the final 2.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, why? I never understood why Noel took Bethry last season either. Oh, no, you just choose. Don't choose who gives the best speech, because then that means they can probably give a good speech in the next fucking round.
That is true, but I think Carolina would have won over either of them, Lenny. Would you reckon to that?
Maybe, yeah, probably.
I felt like that was the sentiment at the time.
Oh, fair.
I wasn't voting for no under any circumstances.
I think we decided that Noel's mistakes happened earlier. Like, he shouldn't have let the girls. He should have taken them both out a lot earlier than that.
Did
Noel
maybe.
and Max Berline season 1 finish would have been the best spot for him.
I mean,
Yeah.
he definitely made the right call, though, Sock.
Yeah, there was no way I was bringing Holly through. Like, the whole jury loved Holly for blowing up the entire game. And fucking in ruin mine and Lucy's game plan at the same time. But yeah,
Yeah, but what if Holly came to you and was just like, look, okay, this whole big move that you think I had didn't even work. Like, the person I wanted to go home didn't go home. If she just kind of goes to you and kind of fully discredits that, because, like, sure, she saved Lenny, but she could be like, but having Lenny in the game wasn't good for me because I would have taken him to the end and lost. Like if she'd have really pushed that narrative forward,
Yeah, but
or
she
were you
still
just
tried.
so irritated that it was because it took out Lucy and the idol?
Yeah, like I was partly irritated, but also like she still tried to do something and blow up the entire game, and like both with me and Divya, the stuff we did wasn't that blatant and that obvious. And I think the jury, appreciates blatant stuff more than the more subtle stuff.
At one point, Holly calls you Sock the underdog, but my question was, should she have been pitching Divya and the whole Ruba tribe story as the underdog? Ruba, they got absolutely battered all the way through. How great is it that Divya, despite all of this, has managed to get all the way through? She's voted off her own tribe really shrewdly in a really smart play. Like, surely she'll win if she gets to the end. Could she not have played that card?
Not really, I guess, because like recency bias, like the whole day we'd just been fucking being crushed by the Ruba Alliance. It really didn't feel like they were the underdogs that day. Yeah, on the first day they were, but just the whole morning, the Ruba were firmly in control of the game. So I would have been like, nah, Divya was not an underdog.
What if Holly came to you at the end and was like, "Look, Sock, I'm not being funny, mate. You're not winning against either of us. Divya's gonna landslide. I'm gonna landslide. I'm just being real. You might as well just pick whoever you want to win right now." Would that have got in your head at all?
A bit, maybe, but I was still choosing Divya because, who gives the better speech?
True.
That's a good speech. And if you can give a good speech then, I back you to give a good speech next round. So
Yeah,
I want
that's very true.
to, why am I going to take you through?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think you've hit on one of the a very underappreciated aspects of the game. It's just
I've
kind
never
of being
thought
able
about
to.
that.
I think maybe because in normal Survivor they typically don't pick like they always pick this kind of alpha personalities who are able to kind of speak well on
Yeah.
television. So like everyone's kind of a bit like that anyway, which kind of means that it's not really a true
Yeah,
representation of society.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, something like that would definitely be a huge
yeah.
impact in this game.
And like, no offense to Divya, but English is her second language, so she's at a disadvantage to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it makes it more impressive that Divya's made it as far as she
Yeah,
has.
no, it does. It's a compliment on Divya's game, but people, the jury, aren't thinking of that when they're voting. They're just thinking about who's just done the best speech in front of me then. They're not thinking about,
Yeah.
oh shit, Divya's having to think of stuff in Malaysian and then translate it into English in her head. No, the jury don't care about that.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get to the final tribal council, I just leave a pause just to let Holly and Divya make one final pitch, and even do, and I've done this a few times throughout the season, and this is purely so that when the player gets voted out, they can watch it back and be like, oh, why didn't I say anything?
Yeah. But no, I don't think there's anything Holly could have said which was going to make me take her through. And I mean that with the greatest of compliments to her game.
Okay, all right. So we get into final tribal council. So at this point, did you think you had a chance against Divya?
Yeah, I think if Divya hadn't been done what she did in the big dog round, maybe not. But I think the jury definitely turned the jury on her that round. So yeah, I felt I had a good chance because I felt she just misplayed that round so badly, and that she just hadn't made her reasons for doing what she was doing clear, and she just made herself just look like an Oscar Josky Martin, which people aren't too keen on voting for.
Okay, yeah. So it was a bad look in front of the jury there. So you start off by comparing yourself to Didier Drogba.
Yeah, proud of that.
Okay, I don't know much about football, but you claim that it's because you showed up in the big moments or something.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah.
like if you need someone to go score a goal in a cup final, it's him. He'll get you through quarterfinals. I'd put it that way. It's someone we need on Skunk. Someone to get you through the big moments. He would have won Universe Point this weekend. I'd put it that way. He would have scored it and assisted it probably. He's that type of man.
He would have got a Callahan. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with Noel. So Noel starts off. He asked what move had the greatest impact, and I think this might have actually been the worst question for Sock, based on what I've got here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sock,
Good to get out the memory though by doing it
Good. It
first.
went first. You did, not a bad.
That at the end I think could ruin you, especially
Yeah.
when Noel came back. Feel like
Yeah,
that.
no was willing. Yeah, no was willing to kill my game.
Yeah.
No, I think I was planning these big moves, but Big Dog, I got a bit fucked by Isaac and Big Dog, and then I think my game was more based on improvisation rather than planned, coordinated attacks. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's something that you should have lent on further. You could have been like, obviously, like we all know there are a few rounds that I kind of scraped through, but then as soon as I found myself in that position of power, like maybe I did benefit from how other people played the game, but
Yeah,
equally the exact same thing happened from Divya. Like you can argue that the only reason Lucy left and I lost this great plan was nothing to do with how Divya played the game. And as soon as I
yeah,
found myself in that position of power, I immediately then pulled in Divya in order to get
yeah,
that move going, in order to eliminate Isaac, and then it meant we could knock out Lenny, where I saved Divya and kept her in the game at final five, and then managed to convince her to take out Big Dog. Maybe that could have been
yeah,
where you went with that one. But Divya then talks about how she eliminated Isaac in order to keep Lenny in the game where he continued to be a bigger threat, which I thought was a very good answer.
yeah. I thought, yeah, that I wasn't looking good at that point. No, I was like, shit.
We start off with Ben, and Ben's coming for you a bit because he accuses you of betraying Merak, and he says, like, why should I vote for you?
Yeah,
And you tell him that the Blue Tribe was kind of crumbling, so you joined the Reds, and you also talked about why you voted out Holly. Lenny, what do we think of this?
I thought you answered it well, especially the Holly stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Cheers,
thought
Lenny. I appreciate that.
you smoothed over what wasn't the nicest question from Ben. Um, that man did not want you winning, clearly.
No, right? Had I voted him out? I can't remember.
I
I mean,
think,
you,
to be
you got up and
fair,
left at the one that he went.
Oh, fair.
most people were planning on voting him out that round.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but yeah, I did fuck him by just leaving him to his fate.
But yeah, I mean, Ben was kind of coming for both of you really because he says that Divya had been under the radar and asks how she dictated the game, and a fan has written in and said because he asked why Divya never came back to him with a decision, and someone suggested that maybe that was just because she was always planning to vote him out in the only rounds that they had any kind of conversation. But Divya says that she was never targeted, so she was busy making alliances. What do we think of this?
Yeah, I think that was quite a good answer. Like Divya, the best kind of game you can play is a game where you're never even thought of as a threat in many ways. Yeah, I think Divya was right to draw on that. She could have drawn on it more, being like, I played the game so well, you didn't even think of me as a threat. And now look, I'm sat here and you're sat watching me on the jury. Clearly, I've done something right. So why are you coming to criticise my game?
Yeah, what do you reckon, Lenny? Should she have pushed that harder? Should she have been like, obviously I'm not going to share anything with you because I knew you weren't in my alliance, which is good gameplay by me, and the fact that I wasn't, yeah, as she said, wasn't targeted means that she can claim that she was always working, she was always being sociable with everyone, trying to figure out where the votes were going.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see that as well because let's be honest, it would have just been very funny for her to just slam Ben. at the-
Oh, what you think? You think it would have gone well with the jury if she'd have just been like, and you were terrible. That's why you left.
Do you
And
know what?
after you left, I was chatting to everyone but you.
That would have worked on me. I would have found that very
Yeah.
funny. So
I really can't remember what Ben did, which was so bad. But I really. Also, sorry, this takes me back to a point I just ages ago. But I remember this for Merak celebrations. There's been so many wrong answers and like deception. It was Oscar and Strath. It was
really,
yeah. I don't care that everyone's playing. No, I've been watching the podcast and been like, no, they're fucking wrong. It was the original idea was Oscar and Strath because they were talking about the Premier League, and then Oscar mentioned like some team having to give another team a guard of honor, and then Strath was like, we should do that.
Oh, wow.
So happy this has been set up because it's annoying.
Oh,
People have been coming on here giving the wrong answers. No, it was Oscar and Strath because they were talking about football, and that's how it started.
oh, beautiful! I'm glad we've got an actual definitive answer on it.
Wow. Finally, it only took us, what, a year and 8 months to finally get to that.
Yeah, it's nice to get that burden off my chest.
Max
Having watched,
Line clearly has been given a lot of credit he doesn't deserve.
Yeah.
I think Max Berline had been in suggestion with new ideas, but the original idea was an Oscar and Strath masterclass.
Oh, fair play. Shout out Oscar.
We also got a confessional from you, Sock, I think at the end of round 3, where you were saying that you were kind of trying to float something out when all of you guys were up in Lenny's room
Yeah,
for maybe some kind of alliance. I
Yeah.
think you said you were maybe looking at like working with Strath or something. What happened? Were you guys like all kind of just sat there and you just kind of threw something
Yeah.
out there, or did you take a few people aside?
no, yeah, I just kind of floated out in the middle, and everyone kind of gave me the Isaac Duga treatment of just saying, yeah, that sounds good, patting me on my head and just like sending me away again. So again, like I was trying to plan for future rounds, but other people weren't too receptive.
Next jury question we get is from Oscar, and it's probably the least insightful jury question. We've got the how would you spend the money? I think what we learn here is that Sock has no concept of money.
I actually remember how I spent my money.
Oh yeah?
Bought a soda kit, which Lenny had modelled throughout the Sunday.
There you go. Did a great job.
Still got that soda kit, so a good purchase. Although I did buy the shorts like extra small by mistake, so they're literally like box shorts on me, so I've never worn them.
I got rid of my shorts.
Yeah, I actually gave them to Lucy because they fit her, not me.
I think Big Dog has my shorts.
Oh yeah, he does, because he turned up to training once wearing them.
Yeah, I got rid of every pair of frisbee shorts because they're actually horrible.
They're shit.
Yeah.
Really, I quite like them. I obviously only use them when playing frisbee, but I like that they're sort of like long and baggy.
No, I'd rather.
That's exactly what I don't like about them.
I just want shorts with pockets, to be honest.
No, then they'd be too heavy.
What?
What?
Sorry,
Big bulky pockets in there.
What?
How heavy do you think pockets are?
Yeah,
They're
well, then there's
literally
like a
empty
load of
space,
extra
Mark.
fabric. Clearly, you
That
guys
is
don't
like
understand
grams.
speed.
That is like 20 grams. That's it. That's it. I'm not filling it with like rocks.
Like, I'm not having all that resistance as I'm trying to run.
What is it? What are you talking
But
about?
you guys are fine because you're both really tall, but I actually have to run around on the pitch.
Mike, you have a beard. Surely that's more resistance.
Yeah, you're getting more weight.
That's why I get to have this beard, because I don't have shorts with pockets.
That's insane, Mark. You can't actually believe that.
You're going to start shaving your leg and arm hair.
I might start.
Also, you just said you like these shorts because they're baggy. You should just get some shorter shorts.
Well, no, I don't want shorter shorts because then, like, people always, well, they don't fit between my legs because I'm short, so there's no point. But if anyone does ever try and throw it between my legs, then they would get caught on the shorts.
At the end of the day, you can't argue with an idiot.
Like trying to get Divya to vote out Chris. You just can't do it.
You're a joke.
So we see Oscar's question. I feel like that doesn't really give us that much insight. If Oscar cast his jury vote based on your responses to his question of how we're going to spend the money, then I guess you deserve to win, Sock. So Strath, and I've got some with Strath's jury question here, because first of all, he essentially confesses all the reasons as to why he got voted out by claiming, "Oh, I was honest, I was all this," and it's just like, well, that's why he lost the game. Like, I'm amazed you got that far whilst doing all these things. And then he kind of gives you a similar question to what Ben Roberts did, but he said, why should he specifically vote for you, Sock? I feel like a good answer from you.
Another moment I was very proud of. Finessed this answer. Clearly, man of the moment. Channeling my inner Didier Drogba there.
But then Strath, okay, I'm upset I didn't bring this up when Strath was on the podcast. You can't ask one of the finalists how to spell their name to tell everyone to vote for them and then not vote for them.
Yeah, you can. That was amazing. I rate that so much.
That's so fucking muggy.
The ultimate cross, Mike.
That's amazing.
Didn't get to do it in live, so he did it in depth.
Poor Divya. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, that's honestly my highlight of the episode. Because I just didn't even cross my mind that Straff had ever voted for me.
Also, like we all knew going into the episode, like we've seen season 1, we all know that there's going to be some dickhead that does the vote fake out, just like, oh, okay, this person did this and this to me, and that's why I'm voting for them. We saw, like, I think about 5 people did it in season 1, so we knew it was going to come up. Okay,
It got me. I'll put it that way.
but Strath asking Divya how to spell her name. Oh, what a bastard!
But I also firmly believe that Strath didn't think about who he's actually going to vote until he had the pen in his hand and was about to start writing on the paper.
That would be Straff. That sums up Straff's game, to be honest.
I'm half surprised Strath didn't vote for like Holly or me, to be honest.
Liam Lou with a vote in the final round.
Sam Sorensen, surely.
Okay, so we get to Lucy. She asks Divya who she's most scared of. Divya says Noel, but could Divya have answered this better? Like, was Noel already a jury vote she had? Like, could she have tried and pandered to someone else here?
Yeah, maybe. But I guess maybe she didn't think, she couldn't read Noel, so she probably had no idea.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Noel is famously hard to read. If you ever sat in a car with Noel, it's can be incredibly, especially if you're in the back, can be incredibly hard to read Noel's mood.
Yeah.
Okay. Does Noel just kind of create a tense atmosphere, just generally? Do you think?
Although I remember at my first frisbee session, I like made a cut and scored from it, and Noel was like, "That was a good cut, but you didn't go from the back, so you fucked up everyone else." And I really didn't know what to think.
I thought Noel was just mean in my first year because when you go throwing with him, if you threw a disc that didn't go straight to him, he wouldn't try and catch it, and then he'd just walk really slowly to go get the disc. So I'd only throw backhands to Noel because I was like, I just don't want to piss this guy off. Turns out he's a lovely guy,
Yeah,
but
he's a lovely guy, amazing.
at the time, I'm a bit scared about him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess it is quite hard to read because like he'd turn up to like when he joined, he would come into all the quizzes and stuff. But yeah, I was never sure if he was actually enjoying them or not. And then obviously the ones where we started barking was yeah,
Yeah.
Clearly,
he was none of
that-
those.
that's him in his true element right there.
But yeah, I was very surprised when like he was the one that suggested that. For example, I didn't see it coming from him. So yeah, maybe Divvy is right. He's just is difficult to read. Maybe that's what makes him so good at this game. Okay, Lucy asks Sock if you're going to be an arse if you win. Lenny, can you shed any more light on this? Has Sock been an arse about it?
Not to me, but I didn't really. I left after that, so
Is that why you left?
yeah, I just couldn't bear it. A world where soccer won.
Sock, is it something that you bring up? I mean, obviously you can bring it up now. Everyone can see it now. It's been aired.
Yeah,
So-
partly, yeah, I didn't want to spoil it for people, and partly, but to be honest, a lot of people in the game actually left, so couldn't really flex on anyone. But I did mock it in Lucy's face quite a few times, especially as I don't think you guys understand about how embarrassed Lucy was about being TG Robboed. She was properly mortified. Like, she did not want the Survivor footage to be released. She was that mortified. So I did make sure to mock it that I resoundingly won.
Yeah, it's such a shame because like
Is.
she played so well, and then like she left with an idol, obviously. But at that tribal council, that was when everyone was just like, "Oh, what an idiot! Why are they not voting with Lenny? Why are they not taking out the opposite?" Like because people didn't know that like she had the idol and stuff. So I
Yeah.
feel like now the edits come through, even though we've seen her get voted out. I feel like she's essentially been vindicated for her gameplay. What do you reckon, Lenny?
Oh, definitely the most redeemed. You know, I feel like I dragged her reputation through the mud, and then she got voted out like that. It's brutal. At the end of the day, very funny, but
The way she went, would that have been preferable to if you'd have blindsided her at like Final Four?
no, I think Sock blindsiding her would be the funniest thing that could happen.
Right. Okay.
Surely.
Isaac asked about challenge performances. Sock talks about the cube puzzle and then goes back to the obviously the final 7-1 where they're writing the things and then he gets eliminated straight away.
At that one point, did you say not the penultimate challenge and then go on to describe the penultimate
Yeah,
challenge?
that was. I also did notice that, and I was like, "Yeah, what the fuck was I on about?"
'Cause I think that's why me and Noel were cracking up so much.
yeah. That was, yeah. Sorry, I'm just a bit distracted because I just saw we came last in spirit this weekend. The
Oh,
Andes,
Norwich said Norwich said they had an issue with they said your spirit was really weird, according to Bill.
yeah. I call it the Andes and Rod tax.
I was about to say, was Andy doing something weird?
Yeah, he laid out into people and didn't apologize, so it doesn't really look great.
That doesn't sound like Andy. That's very
Yeah,
strange.
yeah. We quite firmly came last. It wasn't great.
What was the average?
We were 9.5, which is actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh well, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll never beat. So I don't know if you know, but last year at Skunk Showdown, which is a fun tournament, Divya's team got like an average of a 7.5 at a fun tournament, which they just spoke comment about not shaking the team's hands at the end of the match, which was incredible to read.
Yeah, I played against them and I remember them having surprisingly bad spirit, actually.
Insane.
Yeah, it was incredible.
I think they just kept running into us and like whenever we made calls, they just ignore us.
Yeah, there was also one atrocious pick call where someone was long gone free and was called on a pick for 3 plays ago. It was just incredible.
You've got to respect it because at the end of the day, it doesn't change the results. So
Yeah. Oh, I've just seen Norwich's comment. No, that's bollocks.
What do they say?
So they said they didn't appreciate being rushed at the start of the game to change kit. Pretty much what happened is Norwich infamously played in yellow.
Yeah.
We were playing in high vis, and then we flipped the kit at the start, and we won. So obviously chose to keep in our own kit. So they're obviously quite pissed that we made them change.
Do you know what? Norwich are weird with spirit as well. When you played against them at like ragtag in the final, and they did this really weird like pre-game spirit circle.
Oh no!
And
none of that.
I genuinely think it threw us off our game because it was just so strange.
So tell me about this weird pre-game spirit circle then.
Like
they get together and it's just like, let's all have a good game.
Yeah, we got us all into a circle, and Bill agreed to this, so it's Bill's fault. Me and Noel fuming. But we basically all got around in circles, like, oh, let's have a good game. And then they did that thing where they got everyone to put their hands on the disc in the middle and started spinning it around.
Fuck that.
And it was just so weird. I don't think their whole team was on board with it either, but yeah, absolute joke. And then we lost. It made it even worse.
I feel like that's taking it too far. I think that's taking it so far it's now unspirited again.
Yeah. Let's just get rid of spirit.
Yeah, agreed.
Get a referee in.
Yeah, sort it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to a referee, to be honest. Yeah.
If you're watching, I'm happy to referee big matches at the highest level.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I'll do some. I feel like the players can be allowed to make calls, and then the ref, if they see it, can get involved.
If it's contested, ref word is final.
Yeah.
Next up is Lenny, and he asks, what big moves did you make to change the course of the game? I mean, yeah, a lot of things that comes up again.
Watching this back, I remember why I asked this question, and probably not going to like hearing this, Sock, but I was basically just trying to set Divya up for a good answer. And
cheers, mate.
I was like, Sock doesn't really have any big moves. Divya does, voting off Isaac. So I was just like, she'll say that, give a good answer. Sock will be left floundering.
Yeah.
I wanted Divya to win at that point still. So
yeah, we'll fucking have that.
Worked out in your favour, because this was the start of the swing that brought Divya down in my eyes.
Yeah, what did I say? I can't remember.
Well, I mean, maybe it didn't work out in your favour, Sock, because you claim that you got off Big Dog. To which Lenny responded with, whatever you've got to do.
I don't regret that answer at all.
Sock, you said you position yourself in the middle from final 6 before proceeding to get off Big Dog. That was. I think this was another terrible look for Divya because she initially couldn't think of one. Even though she had a few she could have pointed to, she couldn't think of one. So Sock give his answer. We go back to Divya. She says, keeping people on her side. And then she talks about voting out Isaac, Lenny and Big Dog, which she should have just claimed straight away. Yeah. Then Big Dog comes in with the final nail in the coffin for Divya's game, I think. Because, I don't know, Big Dog's an interesting one. I can't tell if he actually wanted Divya to win here. Do you think he was bitter that she voted him out, not realising the kind of,
I think he was just joking.
What was Big Dog's question again?
So he says, Divya, I've heard a lot of rumours that me and Isaac carried you to the end.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what Big Dog was, why Big Dog asked her that. That was just, yeah. I think there must have been a bit of bitterness that she had turned on him.
I mean, especially because, I mean, it really depends. Like, Lenny, so you were saying that as a juror, you were more inclined to vote for Divya, so you were trying to give her, like, a softball and ask a question that would sort of bury the other person. I'm surprised that Big Dog didn't do a similar thing.
No, I mean, this one ultimately ended up swinging me from Divya to Sock, so...
I don't know, I think Sock also had a terrible answer to Big Dog's question. So first of all, Divya admits that maybe she did get carried, which, to be fair, I mean, I don't think she really did, to be honest. I think, she might have got carried through some of the pre-merge. Like, she might have got a bit lucky there because Big Dog and Lenny wanted to work with her. But I think post-merge, she's done pretty well. And then especially towards the end, she's done very well. But I think maybe she just felt a bit bad and kind of, wanted to sort of appease the jurors rather than be like, oh, I did this, this, and this. And I think also in like the final two rounds, like where it'd been almost her being voted off at final five. Then she'd had to make a tough decision voting off Big Dog at final four, where like she put herself at risk of leaving at final three. And then again, she was asking Sock to take her to the end. So she'd had to play very defensively in those final three rounds. So I think she was still kind of in that headspace. So I think she was sort of feeling a bit bad having voted off people. However, I think maybe even still a better answer than Sock choosing to pander to someone that wasn't on the jury by saying you regretted voting off Max.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
Just an honest man.
I just only felt quite guilty for voting off Max Berline.
Like Lenny, surely this is a position where you can be like, I really regret voting off so and so, like Ben Roberts or something, because like I felt like we really built up something strong this game, and like we're in the trenches together, man, and like we're working back to back, and I would have done anything I could to keep us both in the game, but it just came down. It was between the two of us. One of us had to go, and it just broke my heart to put down your name. You say that kind of thing.
Yeah, but also it's not a bad answer because effectively it achieves nothing, so it's not good or bad. It's just like it's better than It's definitely better than Divvies.
Yeah, just to come in on that, like, yeah, you're helping someone, but then you also, by choosing someone else on the jury, you're kind of giving a fuck you to everyone else on the jury by saying, no, I didn't regret voting you off. And also, to be completely honest, I didn't regret voting anyone off. Like, I was there, I got myself there for a reason. I don't care. Like, if I'd kept someone in, I might not be there. So yeah, no regrets.
And imagine Max Berline's little smile when he's seen that.
Yeah.
Got the apology he deserved.
I Pinky promised him and everything. I just completely forgot in the moment.
Yeah, he was very upset about that at the time. Okay, Holly asks if there was anything you left to luck. I think Holly was coming in with a vendetta against Sock as well. So Sock says that he kind of left the final 987 bit to luck and would have told Lucy to play the idol at final seven. I think, yeah, this was a good time for you to bring up the idol thing and the fact that you obviously had the plan to go for the Ruber Alliance. Divya says she took out players she was less sure of and maybe left stuff more to trust than to luck. Lenny, what do you think of this? Which question did you think Divya did well at?
Oh, what, across the whole thing?
Yeah.
I think maybe Ben's one or Noel's one at the start. Felt like she had a good start. And then it all sort of...
It's all about how you finish.
Yeah. I feel like Sock built up strength as it went along and Divya's sort of got worse. But people obviously just going to remember the more recent questions, so definitely help the man out.
So Divvy gets the votes of Noel, Isaac, Big Dog, and Holly, and Sock receives the votes of Ben, Oscar, Will. Who else would have been there? Lucy, obviously.
Me?
Lenny.
The people who went out pre-merge, they got a vote, didn't they?
Yeah, the pre-jurors and Strath. Yeah, that's it. So it was 7-4 in the end. Yeah, the pre-jurors. So who was there at the time? You had Billy had obviously gone. So I believe it was Archie, Max, Faris, and Zhao having a conversation. So Max actually wasn't there when they discussed it, but luckily he agreed with the decision. Archie said that he enjoyed your water analogies throughout.
Yeah.
Faris said he didn't, but Zhao was more on your side. He had the swing vote there. He just thought that you'd had to do more in the game. He said that you'd had been targeted a bit more, so you'd had to actually do stuff. And then, yeah, when we asked Max Berline later, which he wasn't there for the discussion, so I was like, this can be really irritating if he then picks Divya, but thankfully he did pick you. And yeah, we have throughout the season, Sock, been asking the jurors as to why they picked you over Divya, so we'll release that in a separate podcast later on. But yeah, the ones we didn't see, Ben Roberts had a similar idea to kind of the pre-jurors. He was just like, Divya's been a bit more under the radar and had to do less. And then Will Jeffrey had left, but I think he left at final 6, and he gave me a list of like ranking the players in order of how he would have voted. I should have found this earlier. I found it the other day. I've got it somewhere. I'll see if I can find it.
I'd be interested to see where
Oh yeah, I know. I remember where you and Dibby were on the list, but let me see how he would have ranked everyone
Yeah, I
else.
think I remember him, me and Divya. I think I remember it. We were, yeah.
Sock and Divya were his fifth and sixth choices.
Yeah, I
He's,
remember. I think we were the bottom two.
he's probably happy he left.
But yeah, obviously he leaves at final six, so there is arguably still a lot of games to be played,
Yeah,
including most of Divya and Sock's games, really.
real players
Yeah.
get final six.
Yeah. Sock, there is a theory out there actually, based off what you just said, actually, where the what you have to do in Survivor to actually really win is just to stick around until top six, and then there's like actual game theory that you can use to get yourself to the end. Is it as simple as that, or do you actually have to work those relationships all the way from the start?
Uh, no, I think you've got to be working those relationships from the start. And I also think it takes an incredible amount of luck because, like I said, I wouldn't have got to that final six if Lenny hadn't moved when he moved. But yeah, I think if you get into that final six and you are kind of middle, bottom of the pack, you are looking at a very good scenario because as you get near the end, so the bigger players start turning to look at each other and probably start betraying each other. And you're kind of in the back of the mind if you can, kind of take control of the wreckage, you suddenly become really important. You become a swing vote. And yeah, you're looking really, really good. So I think there is something to be said in being maybe not the biggest player into the final six. And then when it is small people, you are quite big.
Should we give Holly and Divya their due shout outs and
Yeah, I'm sad Holly didn't win. Um, I really wanted to get to the final, wanted her to win. I thought she played it really well. I'm not just saying that because she saved me. I thought, she did well to get through, got to the merge, teamed up with the dominant side, took an opportunity, obviously didn't come off, but, took the shot at the right time to take out one of those big three. And even after that, made her way right to the end. But yeah, the best team lost, and the team was me and Holly at the end of the day.
Holly made a lot of good decisions throughout the game, really. She was obviously on the bottom of that Merak tribe. There are a lot of players there that weren't particularly keen on working with her. And also, she obviously had that vendetta against Noel anyway. Unfortunately, couldn't really corral a lot of support among the Merak tribe, which she then realised and then flipped to the Red tribe, which was a very smart decision for her because it didn't look like she was going that far with Merak. Um, she was then kind of part of that faceless alliance for a long time. I think she was trying to figure out exactly where she fit into it. I think having a player like you in the game, Lenny, was very helpful for her because I think without you giving her that information as to, like, they're just kind of stringing you along at this point in the game, she would have just kept happily going and then been beaten. That then gave her the opportunity to actually switch things up. I think her best move at Final Nine would probably to have been to side with you and Will and Strath, but at the time she couldn't have really known that because she just thought she was in with Big Dog and didn't really realise that Divya and Isaac and Big Dog were going to be so much tighter. Um, and her switching her vote at Final Seven obviously made the game way more exciting and playing the idol. I was surprised that she continued to side with you, actually, Lenny. I thought she just flipped straight back, but that then did bring about the end of the Ruba 3 alliance. And it did seem like she was definitely going to win the game at Final Three, but I'm not sure how likely she would have been at winning immunity in that combination of people. So maybe
If it was
she,
if it was a puzzle, I feel like I'd give her a good chance.
yeah, I guess so. But then I guess her plan was to bring you that far anyway. But it did,
Yeah.
I think, had her intention been to take you to the end, then that would have been a big knock on her game. And maybe we'll get the chance to ask her. But if her intention was to bring you to Final Three and have you leave there, then I think, yeah, that's pretty much the perfect scenario for her. So I think a very good game, and it was just snuffed out at the end by a Weasley man winning immunity and making a very good decision there. So yeah, shout out to Holly for a very good game and making the game a lot more entertaining towards the end. So
Also, okay, I just had one more point. Holly fumbled that penultimate challenge so badly.
She
Holly
really
had
did.
all the right to win that challenge.
Yeah.
Like, even if it car mistake, she found that thing. She just had to remember four numbers, and that challenges Holly's every day of the week.
Yeah. She would have had 3 cubes and everyone else would have had one.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think the same result though for the round. Like Big Dog still leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
But she probably has a nicer time of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't have to make any outlandish promises to Divya or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only imagine how frantic Sock's going to be in that round.
Oh, no, I'd probably tell them I'm doing it. Let's be honest.
Your confessionals were already quite like, what's Divya doing? If you're the one that she's about to potentially vote for, you're going to be going crazy.
Oh.
Lenny, shall we discuss Divya a little bit then?
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to go?
Yeah, I guess we can all weigh in on this one. Well,
Yeah.
Lenny, as a juror, what did you think of Divya's final tribal council? Is this where she lost the game? Really?
I
Like, did
think
she have a better case than Sock?
it's reminiscent of a Skunks men's team in a quarter final of nationals. Um, it was there to be won, and I think she succumbed to a Didier Drogba like performance from the other finalist, and yeah, I feel like she probably did have the gameplay there to go and win it. If I was Didier, I'd look back and you know be like, shit, probably could have won that, but I mean, she played really well. She basically had everyone on her side for a good portion of the game, which is just quite impressive, isn't it? So, yeah, I feel bad for Divya not winning, but we got a different worthy winner instead.
Before the season, Lenny, I made a call in my preseason cast assessment. I said if this is like season one, then Divya will win. I very much compared her to Beth, who won season one.
Yeah,
Can you kind of compare their gameplay? Because obviously Beth won most of the challenges, but Divya was like integrated so well socially.
yeah, I think they weren't actually that similar. I feel like Beth was not that good socially. Like, Beth didn't have everyone on her side. She
Right.
just was never able to be voted off, really, and had like two pretty strong alliances. But Divya, how many did Divya really receive many votes throughout?
She voted for herself at final seven.
And then we voted for it at final five, but that was basically it, right?
Yeah, she would have had a couple of votes the round that Will left as well. She would have had one vote there. Oh, and I think she got a couple in the early game as well.
Okay,
I
but
think
yeah,
Paris dropped
basically,
her a vote at one point.
no need for that, Faris. Different to Beth. You were wrong in the day.
Okay.
How were your predictions actually in total?
Yeah, fuck you, Mike.
Oh yeah, I had no hope at all for Sock. I thought this guy is so going to be done at his first tribal council. I thought you'd come back into the game though. I thought
Yeah, to be
you'd
honest,
be able
Mike,
to do this.
I wouldn't give myself much hope either. So
You didn't put hope in your housemate and very good friend either. No
No, I did. You
trust.
told me you were going to be the first one out, and I said you'll be gone at the merge.
No, yeah, but you should have fully backed me. You should have said final five.
I basically just got you and Noel the wrong way round because I thought Noel would make it through, then get submerged, and then his alliance would win out, and then he'd make a deep run. But in reality, I just got you the wrong way round. So like that's still a win for me.
No, you're a disgrace.
Sock, I got completely wrong. I put Faris as my winner pick, and
you
that really threw off a lot of my predictions.
got Holly quite right, from what I remember.
I mean, Holly and Big Dog were obviously going to make a deep run.
Yeah.
Like that was always going to happen. I'm not really going to claim much credit for that. Like we all knew they were going. They went further than I thought though, so they did better than they should have done. Yeah, I'll say that. I don't think I did particularly well, but yeah, we'll get up the list and we'll do some kind of season wrap up. Oh yeah, we'll give out some awards as well as to various things. Oh, Lenny, you'll be thrilled to know I did a skim rewatch and I did a full confessional count.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we can see who got the biggest edit. So, to be fair, it wasn't edited in any particular way. Like
Yeah.
if someone didn't send me a confessional for that round, then they don't
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't get one.
Someone gives you a shit confessional. Yeah, no one wants to see that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I feel like I was edited quite kindly by you.
I mean, I probably just put in most of the stuff you gave me. I don't think
Yeah, exactly.
there was
Yeah.
nothing you said that I was just like, oh, I better not include that just to protect him.
I don't know. I feel like the previous leads made me out to be quite good.
I could have just edited it so it's like Big Dog, Isaac, and Divya are like the heroes the whole time. But then that would have been so boring, and I just would have been repeating it every episode, just like, oh, these guys are the underdogs. Oh, and then Lenny betrayed them, and he took Will and Strath away, and then they all voted against them.
Also, they were the villains. Let's be
They
honest.
were the villains. Big Dog was such a villain.
Like when I watch it, I'm just always rooting for the underdog, and this is how I like
Big Dog wasn't the underdog.
well, no. So that's my thing. So like he was on day one. So I was in my mind. I was just like, obviously, I'm fully unbiased, but like
Yeah,
now it would be nice if Rube would suddenly take power, and then they did take power. And then they started voting off like
yeah,
in the round that Noel's about to go. I was just like, God, it'd be good if Noel can somehow pull this off because he's now the underdog. Then he goes. Then like Oscar and Ben both go, and then I was under the impression that Sock was done anyway, but. From my perspective, you sort of had an in with Lucy anyway, so like it
yeah,
didn't seem like you were completely just only on the blue tribe. But then I was just like, now I kind of want Big Dog to be taken down because then like there'll be
yeah.
another twist to the
Yeah.
game.
You saw Big Dog's little smirks at people as they left.
Yeah, I was loving it. I was just like, this is going to be so great, but kind of even better if he ends up not winning.
Yeah,
Um, so then I was kind of rooting for Lenny as the underdog, and I must have gone in because I remember at the time I think I was rooting for Divya at final three because I thought you'd be voting her off, and then as soon as you started talking about how Holly had been making all these big moves, I was just like, oh yeah, well maybe I'm rooting for Holly now. But then I kind of wanted one player from each tribe to be at the end because I thought that would be better. But then I remember rooting for you at final tribal council because I must have gone in thinking that Divya had a more likely chance of winning based on her gameplay.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that was from my perspective at the time, that was clearly where you pulled it out. Oh yeah, we should probably talk about Divya, shouldn't we? Yeah, I think Divya played a very good game. I think she essentially got a bit lucky by the fact that Lenny and Big Dog both really wanted to work with her and take her deep into the game. But I think that's a lot of kind of the attitude that she kind of puts out. That's just very good social game from her anyway. She was never going to be a target of the first few rounds post merge. She was already in a good alliance, so she didn't really need to do too much strategizing because she stood behind Isaac, who's a big challenge threat, Lenny, who's a big strategic threat, Big Dog, who's a big social, who's a big kind of threat in every possible way. So she'll always be looked at after all of those three. Um, and she was kind of working that alliance with Lucy. She was in there with Sock a little bit and Holly. So it looked like she had the most options from everyone throughout. And I think her only mistake was just not being able to like vocalize that well enough at Final Tribal Council. I think Sock did well kind of making out that she was stupid for not voting off Big Dog when in reality she was trying to weigh up the pros and cons of keeping him in the game where he'll definitely leave at final three, but maybe he'll win the challenge and then she definitely won't win. So it was a tough decision for her there. Ultimately, the jury didn't vote how I would have expected them to vote. I thought no way Sock's got Strath's vote. I thought Ben Roberts wouldn't be voted for Sock.
yeah.
So I think she was a bit unlucky, but also she should have like hyped herself up a bit more. So I think that was an unfortunate place for her. Sock, what do you think about Holly and Divya's games?
I think Divya played an amazing game. I don't know, maybe because we know the people coming in before kind of makes a difference, but you kind of had the Fast and Furious in crowd who did have a big influence over the game, and Divya wasn't really in that. She was more of an Archie Josky Martin, a Faris Azal who could have gone early, but Divya got herself in so quickly and just like locked up. It was amazing. I don't think anyone predicted, well, at least I didn't see Divya getting so integrated so quickly. So I think Divya actually played a masterful game, and like you said, she voted out all of Lenny, Isaac, Big Dog. Like she played that alliance so well. I just think it just got underrated slightly. And I think if she could have expressed herself better, especially in that Big Dog vote out, she could have, she would have won the game. But I'm just very lucky that she didn't express herself very well in that one. And I just like clutched onto back to help me win the game. And Holly just played again a really good game. And like I said, the best compliments I can give Holly is there was no way I was taking her through to the final because she was loved so much for that. She completely opened up the game, but also before that, she was the only Merak tribe who managed to hop onto the Ruba Alliance. I don't know how she just played the game very well to be able to just switch sides and hop onto the winning side post merge like that was just pretty amazing. And she betrayed the alliance when she needed to betray it. And it didn't come out well for her, but she wasn't in a bad position. Like she still managed to get to the final three from that. And look, if that final challenge is a puzzle, Holly's probably in the final and Holly probably wins it. So it's just pretty unlucky from Holly, but it played to my strengths, not her there. So just really well played from them both.
Lenny, I guess should we talk about Sock's game then?
Oh, if we have to, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still getting over the fact that Sock won.
Mate, never any doubt.
Yeah, I mean, considering the position you came into the game with of just being the easy, you could have very easily been a Ben Roberts in the game.
I
where
genuinely thought I was going to be first out. Like my ambition was to get to day two.
yeah, where you're sat there and everyone's just like, yeah, he's gone. He's
Yeah,
definitely going to be voted off. And you did well to just survive early, I think, because yeah, your name was just always going to be right out from the start, which is just a nightmare. And then as the game went on, I feel like you found your feet a lot more. And then those final 6 rounds, I think you just basically position yourself perfectly, and you were just on the right side each time. You were just making the right decision each time, each round, and you got clutch wins in the immunity challenges at the end as well. And yeah, I mean, a Drogba performance in the final absolutely carried you over the line. Like you did well to talk yourself up, and I mean, you
I'm so
convinced
good.
me to switch sides. So
Yeah,
without that, you wouldn't have won.
cheers.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that you were going to be the winner at the end of this thing, obviously, when I was editing, I was trying to look back, especially through like the tribe stage of the game, as to like moments where I could be like, oh, okay, yeah, he did this, and obviously this is good, and then he did that. I think we've talked about it a fair amount on the podcast, just the fact that like you came in with such a large target. Obviously, the fact that you guys won so much towards the start of the game saved you a lot there. I think
Yeah,
otherwise you probably would have been headed straight for the redemption challenge. Depending on how like defensively your Knowles and Oscars are playing, I think there's a very good chance that Strath and Max just get together round one and are like, let's get rid of Max and then let's get rid of Sock, sorry, and that probably just carries through. I do think you played the tribe stage really well, actually. I think you worked out fairly quickly who the players were that held power on that tribe, which ended up being Noel after Oscar gravitated towards him and then kind of stuck with them. I think it was essentially you joining them that ended up causing Strath to be voted out, which then obviously wasn't very helpful for your game and was always going to be a terrible move. Like, there's no way that man wasn't
that
going
was
to
a
win.
stupid move.
Um, yeah, that was always going to happen. But again, that one kind of worked out for you. But I think that was just because you were stood behind Noel and Oscar and Ben at the merge, who are bigger targets. But I think that's a credit to you for keeping them in the game. I think had you been tightly aligned with like Billy and he'd stayed, then you are definitely looked at earlier than him. I think you and Lucy played your alliance incredibly throughout the game, where everyone just for some reason thought you were against each other the whole time, whereas you were obviously just working together, which was very useful, particularly for you. Yeah, definitely would have been really funny to see you betray her at the end. I feel like there's a good chance that in that case neither of you win.
Yeah,
Uh,
wouldn't have cared.
so,
I just got it so good. Oh,
yeah, it would have been very funny. Obviously, you do get you get a bit lucky in the rounds where it's just Merak getting picked off and then Lenny flipping at 9. Whether or not it was the right decision to vote with him or not, it kind of doesn't really matter because obviously in this scenario you make it through to the end. However, you do end up in a great spot at final 6 despite having lost your only ally and your only idol, where you're able to pull in Divya and then you just play it pretty flawlessly from then on, albeit with 3 very obvious threats in front of you. But
yeah.
you're able to do the smart thing and take them all out. But yeah, it was just watching you each round and just you're coming out with just so much bullshit and just contradicting yourself constantly and just telling players that you're targeting them. Everyone's just kind of like, Sock has no idea what he's doing. Like, he's fine. Like, so many times we saw players saying to each other, we'll just get Sock next round. Like, we'll just get him out next round. And then it just doesn't happen. And every time I always enjoyed watching it back when it came up, and I think it was said like 4 or 5 rounds in a row. I remember Isaac saying it. I remember Will saying it. I think Ben Roberts said it at one point. Noel definitely said it. Like so many players just kind of discounted you because of just the things that you were kind of subconsciously doing, which just made you such a great player. And obviously, it just made it very entertaining to have you in every single episode.
Oh yeah, brilliant, brilliant on camera.
That's what I'm there for.
Fantastic to watch.
Yeah, I think so many of the best confessionals have come from you, but I think really a highlight at Tribal Council, even in the strategy rounds when you're just like, there was one I brought it up a few times on it was like final six or something, we see a conversation between like you and two other players. You throw out like Isaac's name. You then go and speak to a few other people. You're throwing out Lenny's name. Then there's a confessional of you straight after those two moments, and you're like, I think I'm going to vote for Holly, when that's like the one name that hasn't been raised at that point. So I think just the chaos that you brought was just too much for everyone else, and they couldn't handle it.
To what I aspire to. Thank you very much.
But yeah, and then I think you just played the final tribal council incredibly, and yeah, were able to against all odds get the win. So I was very happy that you were the winner. But I think I would have been pretty happy with either one of you, to be honest. But the final two that we did get, I think you can make a case for either one of you, which makes it more exciting watching back.
To be honest, I've spoken a lot to Big Dog about this, and I agree with you. I think a lot of it was luck, and also the other factor, well, yeah, the chaos, but also the final factor I'd say which won me the game was endurance. The fact that you can't, I think it's even worse. It's obviously even worse on actual Survivor, but even on this one, just endurance, being able to keep going and keep mentally functioning after 2 days of having to like plan and strategize and stuff. So speaking to Big Dog about it, and that's what ultimately lost him his game, as in like he got out Lucy, and when he was like so tired from that massive play, that he kind of sat back on his laurels and wasn't really watching. And at that point, Divya betrayed him. And if Big Dog had been still active, if he hadn't won immunity that round, he was still fighting. He might have noticed something was going on and protected Isaac a bit more, and he would have been safe. I think that you see that also in the later rounds as well, with like Holly missing the card and also not remembering the right numbers. It's just like mental endurance and just being able to just keep mentally going. It's actually really tough, and having to keep to fight for yourself round after round after round. I think that and a lot of luck was what won me the game, because it's impossible to pick up on the edit, but just to keep going after 2 days of just having to fight is tough.
Yeah, I mean, obviously on Survivor as well, like there's so much downtime,
Yeah,
but as soon as you've had one round here, then it's just like, okay, someone's been voted off, right? Back outside for the next immunity challenge, and then yeah, it's just it probably is extremely intense for you guys.
I was
Yeah.
exhausted after
No,
those
yeah.
days.
So I've been speaking to Big Dog about it recently. That's what he said. Like after he voted out Lucy, like he was just like he got immunity. He was just like he just sat back, and that's what lost him the game, because that was Big Dog's game to win at that point. But he just wasn't around, and just led to Divya betraying him there because Big Dog wasn't really present that round.
Let me get your take on this. There was a season of Australian Survivor. Yeah, it was a blood versus water season, so that the theme is like it's 12 pairs of people that all have some kind of relationship. So like there were some brothers, there were like a couple,
Yeah.
there was a few of them. And in this particular season, it was pretty much all new players, but there was like one couple that had met on a previous season of Survivor and had then got married. Okay, so they
Yeah.
were like much better than everyone else. They both make it really far. It's a really like hench guy, really hench Aussie guy, and then this really tiny girl. And like all throughout the game, this girl has been kind of doing all of the strategy. Like between them, they like each found an idol and stuff. Like they have all this stuff going for them. But then they like betray another couple, and then suddenly like it's the girl that kind of takes all the heat for it, and then everyone's constantly gunning for her, and then she kind of keeps surviving, and then gets voted off at like final 8, final 7, which then kind of takes most of the heat off the dude's back, and he's able to just kind of sneak his way to the end where he ends up winning.
Yeah.
So my point is this a similar kind of situation, Sock, to you and Lucy, where you need Lucy to sort of be that lightning rod to help you through the game kind of strategically, and then ultimately you needed her to be taken out in order to get you to the end?
Yes, I think it's like similar but also different, as in me and Lucy would never have like that control which your couple had, but I need Lucy to keep me in the game, because I wasn't ever in influence. I need Lucy just to keep me in the game to the point where I could have influence. And I think Lucy did that amazingly. Like I think she stopped the Big Dog Alliance gunning for me. She gave me her safety about power when I needed it to. So I think in like similarly but also different, as in yeah, we weren't voting off people, but it was Lucy who kept me in the game until the point where I could start, throwing my weight around and having some influence.
Quick 30-minute job.
Yeah, surely.
I'm starting to get a bit hungry. I won't lie.
My bolognese is also looking very cooked.
Oh, episode title. A few that I kind of marked out. I've made quite a few enemies on my route to the top.
Was that me or was that
Yeah,
Divya?
that's you.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
The game always wins.
Game always wins. Yeah, I thought it was.
It was close. It was close. I just thought your one about what was it?
Using what my
Confusing.
mother taught me.
I just thought that was so ridiculous at the time that it wins. When you were talking to Strath, and Strath was saying that he very kindly voted for you when you were immune, and you were like, "Well, you didn't know I was immune, so let's not pretend it was too saintly of a gesture." I found it extremely funny to watch back.
Shout out getting off Big Dog as
Yeah, I
well.
was about to say that one as
Oh,
well. Let's see if we've got anything tasty in fan corner this week then.
maybe Divya said I'm not very good at giving speeches at the start of her first speech. I'm about being. I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna win this. Divya said
Inside,
that.
doing a knee slide in your brain.
Yeah.
What a stroke of luck.
All right, let's see. We knew there was a lot of sock support out there, so this could be
Rightly
good
so.
hype.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, I didn't notice this at the time, or in any time I watched this, but apparently Holly was stood on concrete in the challenge, and Sock and Divvy were both on grass.
Yeah, we were. I noticed that.
Yeah, someone
Yeah.
pointed out that could have been a very smart choice from Holly, but evidently didn't work out. Maybe she would have been gone after like a minute if it wasn't for that. Locking the elbow seems like the strategy, to be fair. I thought that surely using the same arm and leg is the strategy. Use the same arm and the opposite leg, but surely that makes you lose balance more. Or maybe it's the opposite. I don't know.
Wait, give me a sec.
Because Divya and Holly did same arm, same leg, and they both lost their balance. What was your issue? Was your issue balance, Sock, or was it
I would say just counterbalance a bit.
right?
I don't even think the balance is that hard. I think it's just like the arm really
Also-
starts to ache.
Is that what it is? I mean, you guys are the pros. I haven't tried this yet,
Yeah.
but
Also,
I
I
will
don't-
be trying it to later.
I've got this really weird thing where I'm right-footed and I'm right-handed, but I just prefer to shoot on my left. So maybe that was it.
I guess it's good to just do what feels natural,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, people mocking whenever anyone looks up and then immediately loses balance. Okay, Divya is dialed in. It clearly was looking more like Divya was about to win. And then some bastard complaining that maybe a timer on the screen would have been nice. Well,
No.
off. Yeah, people excited that Sock won.
Right.
Apparently Divya gave quite a convincing argument. Was that what did it, Sock? Could Divya have come in with a really trash argument that would have just pissed you off and made you want to vote her off?
There's really no way Holly was coming through. No, I was always bringing Divya.
Okay. I don't know if the softly, politely sucking up thing is the big dick play here. Nobody wants to try aggressively negging Sock, saying that it's rubbish, so then you want to prove yourself to them. In this instance, maybe by taking them to the end?
Oh, fair. No, I've just been pissed off and voted you out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's just
okay.
Divya, and then you were coming through every time.
Okay, it did seem, despite, I don't know, there wasn't really much to hide here other than just not showing your confessional where you said you were going to vote off Holly. Also, when I was filming you for that confessional, I was just like, oh yeah, so what are you thinking then? And you were basically just like, yeah, I'm definitely voting off Holly. And I was just like, yeah, but could there be any reason why you might want to vote? And I think you
Yeah,
thought that I was
bad.
trying to influence your decision, but I just wanted the soundbite of you being like, but Dimmy is a threat for these reasons, and maybe
Yeah.
I should think about voting her off.
Yeah, so I was pretty sold on who I was. Yeah,
But yeah, what I would love in that scenario is stop to
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, this is such a tough one because Holly, she made this big play, but Divya, she's great for all of these reasons, and like she's
Yeah.
from her tribe, all of that.
I just didn't give it to you.
That's how you get more confessionals. The game's the game. That comment was pointed out by the fans as well. They enjoyed that one. Okay, yeah, people sad that Holly left. Apparently, she was very magnanimous. Well done. Although maybe not when she didn't vote for Sock out of pettiness.
Yeah,
But I think I think you could justify voting either way. At that
but I
time.
had told her I was going to take her to the end game, so I'd have been a bit pissed off.
Oh yeah, people commenting on the fact that I said that I could edit Ben Roberts out of the season. I think it would have been a great bit, but it would have taken me like months just for like the bit, and I'm already spending enough time on it, so it would have been very funny. But it wouldn't have made any sense until you watch back that joke and then I would have then had to have, yeah.
Yeah,
But it would have been funny.
would have
It would
been
have been funny.
hilarious.
It was just like every time the Merrick tribe was strategizing, just every time he comes into the back of the frame, it just cuts away. Oh, okay. Apparently, Oscar is very class conscious for asking about how the money's going to be spent. Apparently, you're a suck up sock for promising to spend the money on club stuff.
Yeah, it was pure bullshit. Spent. I can proudly say none of that money went towards the club.
So I genuinely would not have let you. Would not have let that happen.
Oh, how come you never came to me with a decision? That's because you weren't ever in on the strategy, Ben. Come on. I didn't try to connive. That must have been when Strath was talking in for a jury speech. Apparently, he didn't try to connive, and it cost him. Apparently, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
SOC. Apparently, Sock, you're a legend for that. Yeah, fuck Strath, man. Like, you can't ask someone to spell their name.
It is
love
very
that.
funny.
I think it's hilarious.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by everyone's busted AF frosted tips. Yeah, some
Oh,
of them are
no.
worse than others.
They've not just insulted the Bleach Boys.
I think some of the Bleach Boys were looking better than others.
I feel like mine doesn't actually look that bad.
I was holding down the fort strong.
I feel like watching it back, I think, no disrespect, Socks looked terrible. Everyone else's looked fine.
Mine, that was definitely the best stage of mine. I'm glad that's the bit that was on camera, not like a fresh bleach where it did not look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome, Lenny.
Like, so I've got a lot of respect for you growing out, like respect that, but it stopped looking good.
I kept it until March next year.
Really?
Didn't go out. I genuinely think I'm going bold.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I've just had my haircut, and look at where that hairline's going.
One of the last few haircuts, Mike.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that corner there.
Yeah, no, look at this.
It's dire stuff.
Mike, you better not use this as a fucking thumbnail.
I'm gonna have a fringe.
Well, either way, there'll be a question mark over your face.
Oh yeah,
be an Lenny like that.
use it as a...
No, this fringe is staying for at least 5-6 years.
Grab the curtain so it covers the bit where it goes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily the headband covers it for me.
Mm.
There's nothing worse though than a team photo where like it's like that, and you can still see the.
Oh, I've been done dirty. So
when I play frisbee and like because my hair gets all sweaty, it all sort of like gets thinner, and then you can see it, and it's
I've got the exact same. It looks like I'm like properly balding.
Yeah, it's
awful.
I hate every single photo from a tournament.
I'll tell you what. Speaking of photos from tournaments, this might be tough. This might be hard to see, but this was the one from the weekend. Can you see that? Oh, sorry. There's a light just behind there. How's that?
Oh, Mike, you've been mocked, brother.
Yeah. Why they were just like, oh, this will be great. Like, let's put the captains in the back row. That will make it line up better because it was myself and Billy co-captaining again. So that was why we're in the back row. But I obviously always crouch in the front, and this was the one instance where I didn't, and I'm never standing up in a photo again because I'm just so much shorter than everyone. Even Billy, who I thought was basically my height, I'm like a head shorter than.
Mike, you look like a bit like a Make-A-Wish kid or something.
I look absolutely tiny, and I don't know why Leo is like really wanting to fondle me.
To be played there.
Leo's like leaning over you as well.
I spoke to him at the weekend. I didn't realise he was 6'3".
Is he good in the air or?
No, he admitted after that immediately that he couldn't jump at all though. So
yeah, no shame in that though. No shame at all.
It's devastating. I tell you what, Beaufait was.
Beaufait's Kevin's class. He's so good.
Yeah, very good player. He'll be irritating us at the grad game, Lenny.
Yeah, but there's going to be so much chaff that you can just poach off of. It's going to.
Oh yeah, obviously it won't matter at all. Like one person will have a slightly difficult job. Everyone else will just be doing enough poaching that, like the second he like dumps it to someone else, it will just get spat to the ground.
When I snap Isaac's leg on the first point, and it's game over for that team.
I think I've heard his hamstring's quite weak at the moment.
Yeah, it is. His hamstring's so poor.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Did he go off injured at all when you were playing this weekend?
No, he went off injured at Thursday training, though, which made me very worried.
Yeah.
Will Jeffrey's just an injury case 24/7. So
How's it looking for Nats?
we played about a weekend, and he said it felt fine. So we're all right.
Perfect.
Hope to see you on Leeds 1 there, Lenny.
No, that won't be happening. I was tempted to go to like a training and see if I could impress and scam my way onto a team, but I just don't really want to play. That's my problem.
Yeah, that's a decent reason. Can't really argue with that.
Just don't really like the sport. Might be my problem.
I'll tell you, I really rediscovered my love for frisbee this weekend. Been a while since I properly played. I played the first game and I quite enjoyed that. I threw a shit ton of no looks, but first game I was playing quite well, so I was feeling quite good during the game. I finished it. Suddenly I was feeling so sick. I had a really sore throat. Like I was just like, oh, maybe I'm just not fit enough for frisbee anymore. Like maybe it's not worth it. Like if I'm just going to feel sick whenever I play, and I was just like, I don't even know if I can play anymore this weekend. And then I get like 2 points into the second game, and I'm just like, I feel like a superhero again. I love it. Like I'm never going to stop. So yeah, it was a bit of a roller coaster.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was a fun team to play on. Even though, like, yeah, I mean, all of our games were pretty close. We just happened to lose any important ones, but yeah, no, it's good fun. Right, let's wrap up Fan Corner. I love that Isaac is still backing Divya. Game respects game. Sorry, Divya, that's tough breaks. GG's. Nice one, Sock. What a gent. Oh yeah, you had a very magnanimous victory speech, Sock. That's very good. Very good from you. Shout out to Veronica again.
Yeah. Do you also bandage up my finger after your shit challenge? So
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, that was Veronica's rope that we used for that one. So
fair.
if we used like TG Robbo's or like Dougie's mate's friend's rope, like we had the previous day, then maybe we all would have been fine. Lenny, we finally answered the question from a couple of podcasts ago. Who was it that was going to hit the chair necessities as well as Big
I
Dog?
couldn't believe it was Zhao.
Yeah, it was Zal.
Unbelievable. I was watching it, and each person, I was like, okay, it makes sense that they would hit it. And then Zhao, and it was like, okay, Zhao's at the back of the queue. Surely not.
Yeah,
I just assumed Beth Jeffrey was going to emerge from the shadows
yeah,
and hit it right at the end, but
yeah. You got Beth and Erin commenting over it as well. Just as Zal's about to sit down, she's like, "I could never possibly hit that shot," and then suddenly, the heavens part and Zal sits down. Yeah.
also it looked like it had no right to hit because he's thrown it at such like a
Yeah, I know.
at such a ridiculous angle.
Oh yeah, shout out to Zal. I think is that the end of Fan Corner? Yep. Thank you to everyone that's been writing in all season. Absolute legends. Some good insights. Yeah, I won't say loads of good insights, but there've been a few. There've
They
been a
tried
few.
their best at the end of the day.
Yeah, respect to there've obviously been a lot of people having disagreeing opinions with each other, but in the end, it's all love, and we all just love and respect all the players. Right, a couple more final questions for you, Sock. Sock, if there is a future season, is there anyone you'd like to see on it?
Sam Sorensen. Definitely get him back. I'd love Lenny's sister on there because I can't remember your sister's name, but I enjoyed her on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'd also I'd love to you on it, Mike, as well, purely so I can vote you off as soon as possible.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Come on, man.
You would be the most instant vote off, I think.
It would be
Because everyone would be in agreement. It would just be really funny.
No, you wouldn't bring yourself to do it. It would be so against your best interest.
I would feel bad, but I'd have to.
No, all right, Sock. Okay, let me put this to you because if we ever do this again, it's unlikely I'll be able to play. So we're in a strategy session. We've lost our first one, whichever round it is. You're like, Mike, I'm obviously going to vote you out, and I'm like, Sock. Please think about this, okay? Like, I'm going to know the game. I'm going to be good in all these challenges. It'd be so stupid. It'd be so stupid as a tribe decision to vote me out in the tribe stage of the game. Like, if you're going to vote me out, you may as well do it tomorrow because you also know if you do vote me out, I'm probably going to come back in.
Yeah, that's quite persuasive. To be fair, I'll give you.
I think you
I'll
can probably
make
get
you out
to the
first
merge.
vote pre-merge.
Yeah, that's
You
just the tip of the
get
iceberg,
gold.
boys. The second you've let me get my
Yeah.
votes in, then suddenly we're one strong alliance going to the end. And Sock, do you have any general feedback on the game? Is there any challenges that you were like, oh, that was impossible, or like, oh, that was good fun, like to see something else like that?
I felt the water one. It was quite early on. Could have been good, but you just made it too hard.
Yeah, that just
I think you know that. No, I think the penultimate challenge was definitely the best. the best challenge I felt. I think I like the frisbee incorporated ones as well. And all the the spirit games ones are always good fun as well. Quiz one's great. What other ones? The go fish. It's not go fish, but the one where you had stuff in your.
Oh yeah.
That was quite easy to cheat on because I did cheat.
Yeah, but you kind of cheated, but you also didn't because like you. So from what I was aware, you told Lucy what was in your bag, and she told you what. So then then each scored a point, but then you each also lost a point. So I don't know how much it actually did help.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I didn't really think of that, but yeah, I'd also think that one was. But otherwise, no, yeah, none of them. And the build up, the tribe ones were all really good. Like the building stuff, that was quite fun. Yeah, it would have just helped if Reba weren't so shit, but can't help that.
Yeah, you do your best to even up the tribe.
Yeah,
but
it
doesn't work.
I'm a bit of a counterbalance, to be fair. So any tribe I'm on is going to be gifted. I was a big player in all those. That engineering one, I was really a big help.
Yeah. Okay.
I think all the engineers, I think we learned they're all just frauds.
All just fucking stupid.
Give them an actual problem and they're just
can't do it.
Pieces.
Well, yeah, Sock, do you have anything final to say from your watch back? Anything that's come up that you're just like, oh, I need to put that out there, or I can't believe this person said this?
To be fair, I think I said most of what I wanted to say as we went through. I had my specific points. I think Divya played a really underrated game. Watching back, I thought Divya played an underrated game once I left the game, but watching it back, definitely. Strathclyde was even more of a moron than I fucking thought he was. No, but I've been really enjoying both the episodes and the podcast. They've been great. It's been really nice to live back the memories. I'm glad someone's changed the date for the Fast and Furious thing because I've been thinking
have they?
a while. And yeah, hopefully you see you both 8th of March.
Lenny, all I've got, as far as I'm aware, all we've got queued up now is we might get one final exit interview with one third place, Holly Sheridan. Get her take on the game. And then also there is, of course, as we discussed, we got a lot of players' takes on each other. So I'll put all of that together in a podcast and release that one as well. We'll get everyone's takes on the game kind of after it was over and why they ended up making the jury vote that they did. However, that doesn't actually require us to come back together, Lenny. But one time that we will be coming back together is for our final Survivor Southampton Season 2 wrap-up podcast, where we will give out various awards and chat about our favourite moments of the season. Are you man enough to join me for that, Lenny?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll sort that out in a couple of weeks.
I look forward to watching it.
Yeah, should be good.
Thank you very much for having me on. I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed watching it. So thank you. And the podcast as well. I've watched them all. So yeah.
Fair play.
Mate, I see the messenger come out. It's the only thing I watch now. Banging.
A worthy winner. But thank you both for being so generous with your time tonight. Well done on finishing your exams, Sock, and enjoy the bolognese.
Oh, thank you very much. I will. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Bye.